yeah.
You can absolutely get an oh yeah. Oh yeah,
No.
up in the okay, or maybe
Perfect
not.
time for stream to start.
That's what we were doing. I literally asked. Folks, welcome to the stream. I hope you're having yourself a fantastic Sunday, which we almost never say. Thank you for joining us. We are going to be playing a little D&D here for you folks today. I will not be engaging with chat because I will be doing my due diligence as the Dungeon Master today with our lovely...
Oh, yeah.
Yep, there it is, with our lovely group of players here. You know him, you'll love him, but more important than anything, you probably want to get to know who they're playing today. So get ready as we begin episode 1 of Carpet Crawlers. So our story takes place in the lands of Valdebrul, a nation with a long history stretching back thousands of years that has endured through war, calamity, hardship, inner turmoil, and dramatic social and political change. In ancient times, Valdebrul was a kingdom where heroes and villains fought battles to decide the fate of the nation, the continent, and the world. But after centuries of strife and through the tireless work of Falfax, the hero Democrat, Valdebrul transitioned from a monarchist system of turmoil and hardship into a progressive democratic nation. Now, in contemporary Valdebrul, heroes and villains still exist, a nod to the nation's heritage, but they work now at a massive theme park known as Dragon World. And at Dragon World, paying tourists or citizens of Valdebrul can come and enter this imaginary world of narrative, danger, and intrigue, where they can work alongside heroes or villains to live out dreams of adventure, grandeur, and honor. And all of the money made by Dragon World is put back into the economy for social programs, universal healthcare, etc. Now, we're going to begin our adventure tonight with someone from that world, from the world of adults, heroes, and villains. And we are going to start in the early hours of the morning. The camera, if you will pan down from the sky towards the sleepy little suburban community here in Valdebrul, where our story is going to begin. We pan towards all of our cameras disappeared from me, and that's fine. I'm not going to worry about it. They're back. We are going to pan down into this suburban community, specifically to a little house. It's, it's modest, about 2 stories or so. The sun is cracking the horizon orange, and birds are chirping and flying between the trees, flitting in the early morning hours. And as we enter into this home, we find a different kind of bird. Specifically, we're gonna come into a house where Jasper puts down his dinner because he realizes we're about to introduce his character.
Realize I'm about to talk.
As we're about to introduce Jasper's character, we pan into this modest suburban home, and Jasper, who do we see as we pan in, getting ready in the very early hours of the day here? In this house.
We see 2 femme parents. They are both barn owlins. One is Taito and the other is Alba. They are sort of the chief artificers that do maintenance on a lot of the attractions at Dragon World. And today is the first day that their child, little Hoot, is going to be going to the, what do we call it? The daycare, the
grandma's house. I mean,
grandma's house.
Your little Hoot will come to know it as grandma's house, but yes, they would to the daycare. To the daycare. And in fact, as we pan in and we see these 2 femme owl and barn owls moving about the house, getting ready for, they have an early start at Dragon World, being lead maintenance workers, although in their own right, very accomplished artificers, and capable of, in their own right, heroes of Dragon World. However, they work mostly behind the scenes on a lot of the contraptions that people at the park experience. We do actually see Little Hoot in their crib. A young owls can't sleep upright. They can't support the weight of their big heads while asleep the way that other owls do, sleeping sitting upright. So Hoot is flat on their stomach, head out to the side, sleeping. And you might notice Hoot like twitching, and like they're having some kind of dream. But we're not gonna go to Hoot just yet. We're gonna go to one of the parents. What are Tydo and Alba? And please let me know which one you are playing in this moment, Jasper. What are
Just a quick note.
Yeah.
I want to make sure, chat, if you have never seen a picture of a baby barn owl, I want you to look up this chthonic horror.
It is not a cute baby. I did look up. I literally, because this is the baby campaign, I literally looked up how do baby owls sleep. Because I knew you were going to be first, and I knew your baby was still going to be asleep, and I needed to know what that looked like. I was like, wait, do baby owls sleep sitting up? Because that'll change this whole scene. So anyway, super accurate to the actual life of baby owls. But anyway, which parent are we starting with here, Jasper?
I guess I'll be Alba.
It'll be Alba. What is Alba doing to get ready, knowing that they're going to be dropping Hoot off for their first day at the daycare before they head off to their early shift at work?
So Hoot is from their first clutch, and so he is their first baby, and so Alba is freaking the fuck out. This is Hoot's first day going to Grandma's house, and so she is... I was going to say flying around the house, I guess, pun intended. Making sure everything's ready, probably over preparing for everything that's going to could happen.
Right. And so as Alba is rushing around the house, making sure that they have everything, not just for your work, which requires you to like keep track of a lot of important like magical items and stuff. You have the like magical equivalent of a janitor's key set, but it's just all arcane crystals that like are used to access and activate various different like elements of the theme park. So you have to keep track of that. And as Alba is sort of flitting around, Tydo sort of is seemingly drifting through all of this, like almost like the polar opposite of Alba, where Alba's got all of this like nervous energy. Tydo is sort of more serenely moving about. Tydo's like plucking toast from the toaster, jamming it, and like without looking puts it out as you sweep by to grab it to like get yourself some breakfast as you're preparing things. She's like, dear, don't rush now. You'll forget. You'll be trying so hard to remember everything that you're going to forget something.
I eat too quickly and sort of hack up an owl pellet.
Oh. Well, I got. You know what? You're on your thing. I got this. Don't worry.
I mean, this is our first day. This is our first time taking Hoot there, and he just had this horrible experience, and we just need to make sure it all goes right.
I know, and I know you're concerned, but children that age, he probably won't remember it in a few years, although we know he's not been sleeping very well. But Grandma is the best of the best. There's the reason so many of the workers at Dragon World drop their children off with Grandma. She can be trusted.
I can't believe why did we think it would be a good idea to bring a toddler to a rampaging battle in the middle of Dragon World? Are we bad parents?
I don't know what we're thinking. I think there might have been a little something in those rats we ate the night before that like our decision making was just a little bit off there. And Tydo like kind of reaches over and like picks up off of like a shelf like basically like an artificer's toolkit that's like her like utility belt, her Batman utility belt, and she like attaches it, and it's got all kinds of things. It's got like a couple of gloves hanging off the side, and you've got an identical tool belt to this. There's like a couple of metal gloves that are like enchanted infused items that you've like manufactured with your artificer abilities. So she's kind of preparing that, and she says, well, I suppose there's no putting it off any longer. Would you go grab Hoot and bring him down? I'll get the car started. And yes, your owlins do drive to work. You don't fly to work. You drive. She's like,
Yeah.
would you go get Hoot? And with that, we're gonna kind of drift out from your parents, out of this world of adults, and we're going to transition into your actual character, Jasper. Jasper, would you please describe Hoot as Hoot sleeps stomach down? Oh, you're entering your daddy era. Sign fell down behind you, and
Oh no!
it's terrible news. It's terrible news.
The daddy era is over.
It
The
was
daddy
so
era's
quick.
over.
It was so quick.
I'm baby now.
Wow, it knew. Wow. Would you please describe Hoot for us?
Yeah, Hoot is a. I mean, are we describing? Okay, yeah. Out of character question.
Yeah.
Are we? Am I an artificer?
In the world of babies, you are an artificer. Your parents would not think of you as their artificer baby. But in the world of babies that we are entering into, you are absolutely an artificer. So please describe Hoot as he would be understood by his fellow babies.
As we are in baby world.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, Hoot is a multi-class guardian artificer and arcane archer fighter. He is, as I mentioned, an ugly little thing, but his parents love him dearly. He is very cautious and sort of generally unsure of the world. Not really knowing what's happening around him. And he has not been sleeping well recently. He's been having terrible nightmares. And so he's sort of, that is adding to this whole him being scared of everything around him.
And I think in this moment, as we transition into Hoot, as one of your femme parents comes up to lift you and take you down to the car, we're going to get a little glimpse of the dreams that have been haunting Hoot recently. In your fitful sleep, you can remember it almost too vividly, what you saw that day recently. Titanic entities, massive and clad in armor, gilded and resonant with magics beyond your comprehension, mountain faces of strength and brutality, clashing with the shriek of metal as swords the size of entire skyscrapers clashed in the air above you as you looked up from a little hidden nook in the ground where your parents could monitor the magic of the battle. But that's not what you saw. What you saw through the one-way glass of this hidden thing was gods engaged in a war that shattered the air and vibrated outwards, making dust vibrate on the console in front of you, a titanic battle that you had no context for. And you can only imagine, if out there exist hundreds, if not thousands, of these behemoth godlike entities clashing like this, then what hope is there for babies and their small place in this world? But these dreams are ended mercifully as you feel soft, downy feathers lift you up onto a shoulder, and like a soothing, like lifting, and you feel the comforting presence of one of these titanic, powerful, godlike entities that exist within your understanding of the universe. Although you know this one to be one of your parents, and you understand this relationship on some level and know that they love you deeply, but you feel that comforting presence as this benevolent, loving God lifts you into its arms and begins to carry you downstairs to the car to sort of head on off to a place you've never been to before. Is there anything that Hoot does as Alba carries you downstairs and into the car?
I make sure, as I'm being lifted, to grab my little plastic shovel that is my sort of my comfort item, but also my smithing tools, just to make sure I'm prepared for whatever awaits me in this strange new land.
Of course, and I believe you also have armor, your artificer armor.
Yeah, that's I I don't know if I'm gonna carry that. Yeah, it's a bunch of milk cartons, but I think we could sort of make it work wherever we end up.
Yeah, you got your milk carton armor. These are things your parents know better than to let you leave without them. And also, yes, your little plastic shovel as you're taken down and loaded into the car in the early morning light. From there, we're gonna kind of lift the camera off, and we're going
Can I eat again?
Yeah, you can go back to eating, dude. You're safe. Okay. You're good now. We're gonna lift off from there, and we're gonna make our way across this suburban neighborhood. Vast distances in the world of babies, but relatively small jaunt away for an adult, to a bit of a nicer looking house, not necessarily like, radically different economic class or anything, but a nice looking house, a little bit of a ways away. And as we pan down and into this house, it's it's feeding time. We're in the kitchen, and it's time for the baby to be getting kind of their breakfast. Megan, would you please describe the parent you've chosen to do this little vignette with?
Yeah, so standing at the counter of this kitchen, chopping up, nice healthy snacks for his daughter to have for the day at grandma's house, because he doesn't really trust the snacks that they serve there. They're not fully organic. Is literally Chad Michael Murray. This is literally Chad Michael Murray. And his wife and daughter are sitting at the table. The daughter, of course, in her little high chair. And they're eating the breakfast that he has also just lovingly cooked for them. And he looks to his wife and he says, honey, I just want to thank you so much for just coming into my life and, bringing Dayanara into my life, because I really love her like she's my own. And, children are just the greatest and most beautiful.
Sorry, dear. What was that? I wasn't listening. I was thinking, I've got a busy day ahead today. I'm supposed to summon an entire undead army for level 14 paying customers. But something about, is Dayanara alright? Is she eaten enough?
Oh, yes. I'm just, getting her snacks prepared for the day.
Good.
And don't worry, honey. You have a very important job, and you need to focus on that.
Yes, I am very important. And in fact, are you not, why are you making snacks for her? Are you not going to be taking care of her today?
Well, no, I mean, I thought I would audition, for a part in the big production I actually got an audition,
Chad.
George hooked me up.
Chad, I know you're pursuing this acting thing, and trust me, I want to support you as a loving wife, but I do remind you that somebody needs to be home to take care of Dayanara, and I'm far too important in my work to do it, and besides, she gets all of her best qualities from me through the natural magics of my strength, but I just don't see Chad Michael Murray being a name up in lights, you know what I mean? Not to put you down, I support you, honey, of course.
Well, it wouldn't be full time, and it's just, you know how people talk, honey. They keep saying I haven't done anything good since the early 2000s, and I really just, I need to prove myself. I need to prove that I'm still in the game.
Yes, you were very good in the early 2000s. Thank goodness my husband croaked shortly thereafter. Anyway, yes, well, if that's what you want to do, honey, I support any and all of your endeavors, and I'm break a leg. Don't actually though. That actually happens a lot in my work. I say break a leg and then I like cast a spell and it like actually breaks some people's legs. It's like a thing, like when people like do the battle against, you know, the evil necromancer, but I don't mean actually break your legs. Just good luck to you. And with that, your wife kind of stands up and walks out. She's dressed in a flowing like black like dress that seems it's like clearly enchanted. It like ripples with green energy. She has massive black like flowing hair and long black nails, and this is just how she dresses around the house. She's actually going to change into her necromancer's robes for work now. That's not her. This is not what she wears. This is just how she dresses when she's at home casually. So she's going off to change and then head off to work, leaving you alone in the kitchen with your daughter Dianara. Before we swap in and meet your actual character, though, Megan, is there anything that actual Chad Michael Murray is going to do here to kind of does he do anything with Dianara?
Well, he just like finishes making her snack, and it's in one of those really nice, like decorated, like bento boxes with like the fruit arranged in a little smiley face and everything. You know, it's like the rice balls that are little animals. And he's like, you know, getting all her stuff together, putting it in her backpack, kind of, you know, with his back to her while she finishes up eating in the high chair.
Perfect. And as Chad Michael Murray prepares a loving snack for his stepdaughter, Dianara, perhaps we should meet that stepdaughter. Megan, would you please describe your actual character as we transition into the world of babies?
Yeah, so Dianara is she's actually a high elf, but you can tell that she's sort of like gotten into her mother's makeup, and she's sort of like used it to dye her blonde hair black, and she's kind of like put like smudged eyeliner onto her face, and it's actually really poorly done. Like, it's not symmetrical whatsoever, but she has, you know, like the emo fringe going on. So, you know, she actually looks pretty scary, but if the fringe is up, she looks absolutely ridiculous. And she is like wearing this cloak that is like with the hood up, and the sleeves are like too long for her though. So she always has to be like pulling them up. And as her stepfather is like getting all of these things together for her, she like pulls out of her cloak a little doll that looks remarkably like Chad Michael Murray. And she takes out a crayon, a black crayon, and stabs it right into the back.
And across the kitchen, this massive...
You're muted, Ross.
Oh, across the kitchen, this massive, godlike figure to Dianara lurches suddenly and kind of grabs at his back and speaks in a language incomprehensible to Dianara, who does not understand the language spoken by adults, but to any adult who is nearby. Ooh, these back pains. I really hope they don't interfere with my audition today. And he continues kind of working as Dianara's voodoo doll fixation object actually works and does in fact affect Chad Michael Murray. Yeah, and what else does Dianara do sort of as your mother, this powerful figure that you look up to, your mother sweeps into the room, now decked out in a crimson red dress that has like a fan that goes up around her back with like spiky points. And now there's like a red streak through her black hair. And she's got a staff. She comes in and she kisses you on the cheek. And she kind of sweets over and she goes, and she just kind of brushes her fingers across Chad Michael Murray's jaw, and as she sort of sweeps out. But what does Dianara do?
So her stepdad goes to pick her up and she like struggles away, like strains away as much as possible and like puts the voodoo doll back into her pocket. And she's just
I'm gonna make you roll the first roll of the game to be how successfully you make this more difficult for Chad Michael Murray. You're not rolling to succeed. You're just rolling for how difficult you make it for him.
Okay, what kind of roll?
Just give me a straight D20 roll. You know what? Give it do a strength.
Strength. Okay.
First roll of the campaign.
I only got 7.
A 7. So maybe your heart's not into it. You got him pretty good in the back earlier, and then Chad is a little anxious today. He's got you don't know about the audition, but he's a little anxious. You struggle, and he's like, but he manages to scoop you up, and he's got a backpack with all of your treats and stuff, and he scoops you up out of your high chair. You're with your voodoo doll still with you, and kind of carries you away. And Megan, did you let everyone know what level and class your character is? Did you say that and I missed it?
No, I didn't. She's a necromancer and is the same level as everybody else.
Which is level 10, right? I don't know.
Which is level 10.
Which is level 10. These are level 10 babies what we're talking about here. But yes.
Except for Holly.
Yeah, except for Holly, who fixed it. I know she fixed it, but he was originally for a very long time a level 15 character. But yes, you get swept up by Chad Michael Murray, and he takes you out. And as you see your mother pull away and rip off in a ruby red convertible with the top down, Chad Michael Murray takes you over to his slightly rundown station wagon and gets you secure in the baby seat before hopping in and puttering off with you.
And the whole time Dayanara's like rolling her eyes and she's just like, oh.
So from there we are going to pull out from having met Dayanara, and we're going to move now to a moving car. We're going to move to a vehicle that's actually driving on its way now to Grandma's house, and we're going to kind of come in through the open window and just music. There's music, just the windows are down in this vehicle and music is playing. Beautiful songs, perfect harmony, all coming out of this vehicle as we pan in. And Holly, would you be so kind to tell me as which of your parents you are going to be playing for this scene?
I'll be Amaya, who is my character's mother.
Mm-hmm. So we come into the car. Who's driving, Amaya or your father, Rio?
It'd be Rio.
Rio. So Rio is driving. This is just it's just a regular car. It's a Honda Civic kind of thing. But sitting in the driver's seat is a paladin warrior. Who's slightly, he's got the seat a little too close to the steering wheel, but he doesn't like to adjust it because it needs to be that close for when Amaya drives. So he doesn't adjust it back. Like he just does a full grasshopper thing with his bulky. He's not wearing his armor. It's in the back to change once they get to work. But he's a paladin who works at Dragon Wheel, and he's driving here. And what is Amaya doing with their child in the back seat?
So neither one of them is actually paying attention to Lynn in the back seat. Rio's driving, and Amaya is actually flipping through like a file folder in front of her, and looking through some designations and information about the next sort of job that she's taking on that will take her out of the home for probably the next 2-3 months. She doesn't work at Dragon World. She's actually a peacekeeper. So she is looking through files very quietly and just sort of like ignoring everything around her, including the music that is coming from the car, which is actually some of her own music.
So just to give some world building context for everyone, when Holly says that Amaya is a peacekeeper, some heroes and villains who work for the government of Valdebrul work in their capacity as peacekeepers, land defenders, emissaries, clandestine agents. So there are not everybody who's a hero or villain necessarily works at Dragon World. And in this case, Amaya actually is a peacekeeper who travels to other neighboring nations who haven't had quite the same history and development as Val d'Abrul and have culturally, still kind of live within that age of mythology. And so Amaya is a person who travels between countries kind of to ensure that Val d'Abrul is kind of safe from external threats that might be coming for it. As you're looking at the document and Rio is sort of driving and your music, Amaya's music is playing off the radio, Rio goes, you know what, I gotta say, I know I say this with every single one, but it's true every single time. I think this is your best work. And as he sort of says that, he's making a turn. What are you what are you looking at there? You any short ones? You don't, obviously your job's important, but maybe a shorter one this time if it's possible.
Shorter than some of the previous, I'll have you know. It's about 2 or 3 months.
Okay, 2 or 3 months. Now, you remember, of course, like Lynn's birthday is coming up. Will you be back in time?
She's genuinely asking. She doesn't know.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. It didn't come through the mic.
She says, shit. When is that? Because she doesn't know.
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna say that it's summer. We're gonna say it's like late summer, so August. And so she's like, Lynn's birthday is in the first week of November. That's 2 months from now.
If it's 2 months, it'll probably be fine. I wouldn't even worry about it, Rio. I wouldn't even give it a second thought. I will probably be back. It'll be fine. And she goes back to the files and starts flipping through some more.
Sounds good. And at that, Rio kind of glances into the rearview mirror, which he fully does not have oriented so that he can see behind the vehicle. It is fully just oriented so that he can see his daughter in the back seat. He has no idea what's behind the vehicle. Anything could be there. He would not know because he wants to keep eyes on her kind of at all times. He has this way. And as he looks and we kind of follow the reflection, Holly, would you please introduce your actual character in the back seat in the car seat, singing along to your mother's music, perhaps?
So, Lynn Kershawn is a water genasi bard. She's picked up her mother's talents and has displayed early stages of pretty strong magics when it comes to instruments. And currently, in her car seat, in the back seat of this car, she has her whole head wrapped up in a seashell sequined, like a sequins made from seashells wrapped around her head. And she's like bopping along with the music, but also like holding her flute in her hand and sometimes just going like, doot, 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 like making music along with the music that's happening, sort of. And she's just like, she's really kind of digging it. And then suddenly she plays like a weird note and water just starts pouring over her head.
And you, in that moment, you hear a kind of scuffling, and you feel a bit of a lurch, and like you're like this moving house that you're in, that your parents sometimes put you in, kind of lurches, and you're like, lurches a bit, and then there's somebody reaching. There's a big hand. A big comforting hand reaching back and kind of dabbing at the water and like kind of getting at it, and it's fully your father, like has 100% turned around from the driver's seat and is like mopping you up as he's still driving. He has not taken a foot off the gas pedal, and he kind of like mops you up a bit, and he's like trying to stay straight on the, and then he pulls back in and he pulls himself back fully over into the lane he's supposed to be in, and keeps driving. But immediately upon seeing your mother, however, doesn't even look up from her file when any of this happens.
No. And she's not even really fazed by that happening. She just kind of like looks down at the flute, kind of looks up at Rio in the mirror, and just smiles and waves.
Yeah, waves back at you. Oath of Childcare Paladin is so good, Jasper. Oath of
That's so
Childcare
good. I
Paladin for
love that.
sure. And so the car is making its way towards Grandma's house, and while it is Hoot's first day, and actually, if I may, Jasper, just as a quick piece of information from you, how old is Hoot?
How old are other characters?
Knowing the lore of the world as you do, you are certainly younger than 2 years old.
Yeah, I know that aspect of it. I just don't know like.
Well, I do
Like,
know that Megan Dianara is around 1 year old. And I was just about to ask you, Holly, how old is Lynn? Because Lynn's been coming to Grandma's house for a while. But this is in baby time a while. So
Yeah,
how
she'll
old
be-
is Lynn?
It'll be 2 in November.
And I'm sorry, is that he, him? Did I miss?
She.
Oh, it is she. Okay, yeah. 2 in November, huh?
we'll say Hoot's about. Yeah, we'll say about 1 also,
Okay.
since it's his first time going.
For sure.
I say 2 is an old baby. My
2 is an old baby. Alzheimer's
yeah.
going to come in
2
soon.
to 3 months away, and we'll talk about how old that Lynn being, kind of the possible things that might mean, and that characters would know about. But as you continue driving toward Grandma's house, yeah, you're 2 years old. You've been going to Grandma's house for most of your life. You've been going to Grandma's house. You're very familiar with Grandma's house, and as you see the house kind of appear in the distance, how does Lynn react upon first seeing Grandma's house? And I'll kind of give you a description from the exterior. Grandma's house dwarfs all of the houses around it. It's huge. It is 4 stories high, but Grandma is a half giant. And so each of those stories is about 2 stories. Because she's a big woman, an old warrior from the history of Valdebrul, one of the most renowned warriors in its history, in fact, a retired level 20 adventurer. Grandma's house is a massive mansion that almost sits as this kind of fortress in the middle of this suburban community. What is Lynn's reaction upon seeing Grandma's house in the distance?
Have you ever seen like a young toddler get excited when they see something they really want? Like they just kind of like drop almost everything and just like start waving their hands and like kicking their legs and stuff and saying things. Lynn starts doing that. And honestly, she actually starts saying like grandma and like kicking her legs and stuff and just like grandma, grandma, grandma. She's just super excited about it.
Give me a persuasion check. This is not persuasion in the sense that you are attempting to convince someone of something. This is just persuasion in that you're trying to communicate. You're trying to speak Grandma's name in a way that you're like other people, like your parents, will understand.
Yeah, 13.
With a 13, you see your dad nod and say something back to you, and it sort of sounds like what you're saying. Like you're speaking and saying grandma, and you never understand what your parents are saying. But when your dad speaks and says something back to you, in your head, it isn't the same thing you said, but it sounds like the same thing. It feels a little bit like the same thing you said. There's a bit of an understanding and a recognition there. And that's never happened to you before. From there, as the car approaches and begins to pull up at Grandma's house, we are going to cut to a car that has actually already arrived at Grandma's house. And 2 calm, graceful, almost weirdly unassuming tabaxi climb out of this car and begin to retrieve a baby from the back seat. Adam, would you please tell me which of your parents you will be playing for this scene?
Yeah, I guess I will play Dart Noir since I love that name that I came up with. And I didn't pick any pronouns or anything for these people, so I'm just gonna say that she is like a pure white furred tabaxi and is just very lithe and in terms of what she's wearing, it's probably pretty reserved, and she has like a long cloak and like for those of us familiar with like Metal Gear Solid, what can probably only be described as like a sneaking suit. You know what I mean? So
So yeah, Dart Noir, this white tabaxi woman steps out along with her partner, who is a calico tabaxi. Also a woman who steps out and is wearing a similar outfit to yours, but hers is more like much more on the side of like a full-on ghillie suit. And one might think it would be more obvious that you were walking around a suburban neighborhood wearing a full ghillie suit, but somehow neither of you is that like noticeable. Like there's a person like a full on like hobgoblin man is like running with his dog down the street, like in fully wearing like jogger's outfit, like running down the street, and he like stops and waves at the car as like Rio and Amaya are coming towards the house, does not even look at you and your partner Shaitan at all. And as Shaitan steps out and sort of gracefully moves to the back seat, she goes, Dart Noir, are we prepared for today? You know that they have asked us to do this solo assassin mission with this group that's been doing a long-running vacation on Dragon World. They're you know the house always wins even at Dragon World, and this group has gone too far for too long, and they want us to take them out. Are you prepared for what we must do today?
first of all, I would like to say I'm so happy you gave them French accents because in my head I was about to do the exact same thing. So,
Of course you were. Do you think I don't know? You think I don't know?
So I think. So which one of them is holding
I'm
little guy?
gonna say unless you say that Dart Noir has reached into the back seat and picked up your child, that neither of you has actually reached in and picked up your child yet.
Okay, well, if you'll allow me, Ross, this is what I envisioned for like when Shaitan asks Dart Noir if they're ready for this like assassination mission, and Dart Noir is just like, well, my dear, why don't we do the usual? Why don't I show you how ready I am? And, Shaitan is like, wee, and like clicks a button. and like, I don't know what the lead up to Grandma's house is, but maybe there's like a little thicket of trees, like type
She's
of
got a
thing,
full,
and, like,
a full, she's rich beyond belief. She's got a full, like, topiary garden in her front yard.
Well, then I would say that in this topiary garden, literally what lights up is what can only be described. Well, first of all, a bunch of bright lights come on so that it's like brightly lit, and then what can only be described as like a laser lattice appears, and Dart Noir just sort of holding little guy looks at this and is just like, and then just leap forward, dive through some of these lasers. Then the lasers are like moving along on some kind of mechanical apparatus. She just comes and backflips up one of the hedges to get over it. But then, finally, a super ridiculously thick, impossible to get through lattice web comes by, and she's like, And then she looks up. She sees a light on the other side that's preventing her from shadow teleporting. She throws a dart, breaks the light, and then just as the laser is about to hit her, she falls backwards into her own shadow and appears in the dark spot that she created from where she threw the dart. And she just lands with cat-like grace on the other side. And she's like, Yes, I think I'm ready.
And having watched all of this, having watched you do all of this while holding your child, while holding your baby, not once blinking, Shaitan then goes, "Excellent. So the usual is what we'll do. I must say, it makes me realize that it was a very good idea for us to install this security system for Grandma, but honestly, I think we use it more than it's ever been used by her. Are you going to replace that light bulb you took out, or should I do it?"
I'm sure I can come up with something. You know, I'll just do the parents know each other?
Yes, you would all know each other. You all work at Dragon World. Well, it's not all of you, but some of you work at Dragon World together, so you do know each other, but it'd be like work colleagues and like, you know, you drop your kids off at the same place. So yeah, you would, as you see Rio and Amaya pulling up, you would like know them.
So what were the names of Hoot's parents again?
Tido and Alba.
So maybe like, you know, Dark Noir is literally like, oh, I know Tido is always carrying some bits and bobs in that equipment of theirs, so maybe I'll just pilfer something from there and we can make it work.
Yes, that's right. They are bringing their son here for the first time today. And from that, after having done this, we're gonna filter now into Lil Guy. But we're going to go back in time a little bit. And we're going to filter into Little Guy while you're in the middle of that thing you just described your parent doing, but from your perspective as a baby. So incomprehensible lights and energy, speed beyond your wildest imagination, the feeling of brush against your face, the loving embrace of a godlike entity that you trust implicitly, even as the emotions that come off it are at times inscrutable to you. Energy lasers, a warm wash of shadow embracing you that is simultaneously perhaps comforting and familiar to you. Adam, would you please describe your actual character?
Lil Guy is a level 10 tabaxi monk who is just basically like just a black cat. It's just like a little kitten. I don't know if you've ever seen that art of like when people do cats with the huge round eyes, like derpy eyes. That's basically Lil Guy. Yeah.
A level 10.
Oh yeah, a monk, shadow monk.
A level 10 shadow monk. Perfect. So after you've gone through this isn't the first time that either one of your parents has held you close while they performed some act of incomprehensible might and magic upon the world around them. So I'm not going to say that you're fazed by this. In fact, this has probably happened quite often. But as you're kind of up on that vantage point in the dark spot, you see cars pulling up, and you see other of these like powerful godlike entities climbing out with people you recognize. People in this sense being other babies that you recognize. You see Lynn being pulled out of the car by the massive godlike entity she refers to as her father. You see Dayanara's. You see a rickety old station wagon like kind of like backfiring as it like pulls up, and handsome looking man gets out and scrambles to grab his stepdaughter Dayanara, who you know. But then you also see a car pull up that you've never seen before, and these massive creatures come out with a small little owl baby who's looking around, frightened and unsure, and you immediately recognize that this is a new baby that is entering your world for the first time. And speaking of entering that world, Valdebrul is a land of heroes and villains, of a massive theme park where people can pay to go on adventures, but that is not the world in which our adventure here today takes place. The adults of this world are all powerful, chthonic level gods of might, magic, wisdom, and influence. Most are benevolent and harmless, often providing succor and assistance and profound love. Some are more inscrutable. Whatever the case, it is nearly impossible to communicate with these adults. And instead, our adventure is going to take place in the world of the babies, the children, the sons, the daughters, the newborns, the infants, the toddlers of these heroes and villains here at Grandma's house. A nursery that, for the babies that live here, is a world entirely its own. Here, in the world of Grandma's house, babies are afforded a certain unprecedented level of freedom compared to at their own homes. With so many babies under the care of Grandma and her attendants, babies have been able to congregate here and form vast and complex social structures, organizations, and even economies alongside the other life that has taken root in the small reaches of Grandma's vast home. But every baby lives with the knowledge that one day they will transition into the world of adults through a process known as the tempering. Begins to come on during your second year of life. People experiencing the tempering display symptoms similar to what we would understand as Alzheimer's or dementia in adults. They lose track of time, begin to forget what has been said to them by other babies, don't understand what babies are saying. They begin to turn more towards the adults, seeking them out in an almost trance-like state. They begin to speak their more complex registers. No baby has managed to avoid the tempering by the time they hit 3 years old. As the children of hero and villains, the babies of Grandma's house have all inherited abilities and magic and strengths from their parents. And in the life of a baby who's been alive for so brief a time, every little thing is a massive experience. Hence our level 10 adventurers today. So, as we enter Grandma's house, as you are all brought in, we will now stay firmly within the space of the baby world. The world of adults no longer accessible.
One last thing
Absolutely.
As my stepdad drops me off?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I just want to say that, like, Chad Michael Murray walking into Grandma's house, like, even just for the few feet it takes, like, Dayanara's super annoyed because he's putting her in a baby Bjorn just for like 10 feet. And he's making this like a massive fuss, and she can't she obviously doesn't know he has an audition today. She doesn't understand what is being said, but I feel like she can sense that he's nervous about something because he's been like gathering papers together, and she can feel his heart pounding because she's in the goddamn baby Bjorn. And so she's really mad at him, and so she wants to make it worse. So like as he leaves in his car and drives around the corner, I would like to cast Cause Fear on him.
Okay. You can go ahead and mark that spell slot for Cause Fear. And yeah, let me know. He has to make a saving throw?
Yeah, he has to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. What is the DC?
Chad Michael Murray is famously wise.
The DC, the spell save is 17.
Spell save is 17.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he gets a plus 15 to wisdom. And so he is going to attempt to resist this spell. And
it's so hard.
He is a godlike entity. He can still fail this, though, because if he gets a 1 or a 2, he will be affected by this spell. Plus 15, by the way, is a low modifier. That's a low wisdom for an adult.
For the adults, okay.
Yeah, it's the equivalent. He has plus 1 to wisdom. Like, that's the equivalent.
Wow.
He got a 12 on the dice, so that is a 27 to resist Cause Fear. But what I'm going to say for flavor, like, we're going to camera cut back to the adult world. We won't do this often, but I just love this idea that Dayanara is like targeting this thing that Chad Michael Murray's off to do. We're gonna cut into the car as you cast Cause Fear, and he shrugs off the spell that you've cast on him, but he does have a moment as he's driving where he like looks down at the baby Bjorn, like now empty with you no longer in it, on his chest, and he just goes, stupid, I could have just carried her. And then it cuts back to you.
So question.
I have
did we
one thing
cover-
as well.
Okay, hold on. Let's do Jasper first, and then we'll do
Mine's
you. Adam.
more a joke, but okay.
But
What is Dianara's mom's name, and does she look more like Hilary Duff or Lindsay Lohan?
Megan.
You're muted.
I know, I just accidentally made
Okay.
my camera screen way bigger. She looks like Morticia Adams.
And her what is
Classic co-lead for Chad Michael Murray. Okay.
and what is your mom's name, Megan?
Her name is Esmerina.
That's
Morticia Adams. Okay.
And Adam, what was the thing that you wanted to do?
All I wanted to say, as just a little bit more flavor for a little guy, is that as Dart Noir performs this feat of agility and spellcraft and then lands, like, you know, you're talking about little guy who's being held that whole time while that's going on. I feel like little guy is just like, it's in like baby slow-mo where he's just like, yeah, so mesmerized by all these lasers, and then they land, and literally she's speaking to Shaitan, but while she's like not looking, like little guy almost like sees like where one of the lasers is like going into like, you know, part of a hedge or whatever, and is almost like is trying to get for it, but then, you know, Dart Noir notices, is like, oh no,
That's
like,
not the play.
because
That's not the
it is
playing
an actual
kind.
laser.
Yeah, that's not for playing, darling.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So you're all being carried by your parents to the door now. You're in range to sort of speak to one another. The four of you have arrived kind of earlier than normal for most babies. So Grandma actually meets you at the door. And so we're going to get our first glimpse of Grandma here. Grandma is a half giant woman who towers above your parents. So in a world where every adult is a chthonic level god, Grandma is the apex god from your world and your perspective. She has massive beefy arms. She's got like a rolled up, like, and picture Rosie the Riveter's outfit. She's like wearing that. But she's like a half giant. She's got massive like tattoos on her arm. She's a full sleeve on this arm. And you don't know this, but that sleeve is tattooed with every villain she's ever defeated, and she's actually is from the time of the Age of Mythology, or sorry, the Age of Myth in Valdebrul. She did fight and defeat like liches and dragons and like vampire lords and stuff, and all of that is like tattooed as a sleeve on her one arm. But she's got a cute pink like bandana on as well. And so she is kind of welcoming your parents. Yeah, exactly. Rosie the Riveter. And so she's wearing a jumpsuit with the sleeves kind of rolled up and stuff. And so as your parents are bringing you up, she is going to like scoop all of you easily into her massive arms. She holds all four of you at once. And that's going to be our kind of first scene here, because Hoot, this is your first time ever being this is your first time ever being here and ever meeting our other three characters here. So how do you all react to this new baby that you're meeting here today in Grandma's arms?
Hoot's gonna be silent because he's freaking the hell out.
Go ahead, Al.
Lynn is a bit preoccupied in the sense that she's been so excited to get here all morning that she just kind of like turns in Grandma's arms and just like holding her blankie and her flute both in her hands. She just like smacks them against the bosom of Grandma and just like lays her head down a little bit. It's just like, ha. She's very excited to see Grandma. She doesn't even realize that there is another person here that
Amazing.
she's never met before.
She's full focused for sure. What about Dayanara and a little guy that's seeing this new baby?
I think little guy is just kind of like given a sniff. Hoot probably feels a bit of wet nose, from little guy, and it's weird because I'm like, I have to remember, you're not actually playing a cat. You are playing a cat humanoid that is also a baby. So little guy,
Yeah, you gotta keep track of all three of those things.
yeah. Little
Baby
guy,
cat guy.
yeah, little guy gives a little sniff, and then it's just like, wow, you're soft, but in a different way than I am.
Are you sick? Why is your beak wet?
I don't
That's
think I'm
actually
sick.
adorable. I'm sorry. That was actually so adorable.
So sorry, what did little guy say, Adam?
I don't think I'm sick. My parents said that they're trying to teach me immunity to various toxins, so I don't know.
What about Dayanara? Does Dayanara have any reaction to this new unknown baby?
Yeah, Dayanara is gonna throw a crayon at his head. Throw the crayon at his head and go, "What's up, new kid?"
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
give me an attack roll.
Okay, what? Hold on.
It's just a throw, so just make just a roll with adding your dex.
Just add my dex. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't actually have any accuracy based weapons.
Yeah. That's fine. Just you won't add your proficiency to this because you're a wizard, so this isn't a proficiency thing.
Okay, my dex, you say?
Yeah.
17.
Does that hit you, Jasper? Does that hit Hoot?
I'm trying to think.
You're trying to think.
If in the same moment, can I activate my arcane armor?
Absolutely, you can. So in that moment, you pull.
Okay, but don't I get a surprise attack?
Oh my god.
Yeah, you'll get to roll with advantage.
Immediate rules lawyer.
You're gonna get to roll with
Yeah,
advantage.
what the hell?
But Jasper, describe what it looks like when you don your milk carton armor. What does it look like? What does it look like when you don your milk carton armor, Hoot?
So I think I have a little bit of cardboard in I have a little fake tool belt, one of those toy tool belts, so that I'm like my parents, and in one of those little sleeves is a little bit of cardboard that I hit with my little shovel, and then I can't remember which edition of Iron Man suit this is, but all of the pieces just come flying and assemble on my body.
Incredible. So all of these milk carton pieces just swoop in and cover you, just as grandma is talking with your parents, just nobody looks at it. They're like, yeah, these are magical babies, it's fine. And then assembles. What did you get on your second attack roll? Did you get better than a 17?
It was lower, so it's just a 17.
Okay, does a 17 hit you with your armor on, Jasper?
Honestly, I don't know what arcane armor even does. I just wanted to do it.
I assume that it is already active for. Oh yeah, because you've got scale mail equipped.
Yeah.
And is arcane armor a feature?
I don't know. I should have looked this up before saying it.
Your metallurgic pursuits have led you to making armor a conduit for your magic. As an action, you can turn a suit of armor you are wearing into arcane armor, providing you have smith tools in hand. And then the armor model. You design your armor to be in the front line of conflict because you're a guardian. So you have a thunder gauntlets as an action. You have
Oh, it just gives me
it's just giving you
defensive
things. So
field.
your AC is the same. It's just that the scale mail
Okay,
you're
then
wearing.
yeah, I get hit.
Yeah.
I get hit, but I'm gonna create a defensive field.
Okay. What does that do?
So it gives me, I think, 3 temporary hit points.
Okay. Megan, go ahead and roll 1d4 for the damage from that crayon you throw.
Oh, yeah. Can I decide where it struck him?
Sure.
Right between the eyes.
Right between the eyes, roll that damage.
How do I roll just a d4?
Bottom left corner.
Oh, it's this bottom left thing,
Yeah.
isn't it? Okay. Yes.
When this armor flies on, I feel like little guy is just like, ears up, like here pregnant, like.
It does 3 damage.
Hey, so it just takes out my temp hit points.
Yeah, you
And
just,
it leaves a little crayon mark.
a little crayon mark in your
What color?
it was a black crayon, wasn't it?
It was a black crayon.
It's a little
yeah.
black
Black
mark
crayon, cool.
in
The
between
only
your
ones
eyes.
that she has are black crowns.
Yeah, I have a whole pack of black crayons.
That's your quarterstaff. That's your wizard staff is a black crayon.
Yeah,
It's just
like one of those
4
ones,
taped
like the
together.
markers that connect.
Yeah.
The markers that connect
You have
together.
you have 2 of those connected, and that's your quarterstaff.
Hell yeah.
Amazing.
Let's
Because
go.
yes, obviously there are no swords, there's no metal armor. Those are all of this is reskinned for the baby world for us. So you don't have a quarterstaff, you have 2 markers connected together that you wield as your quarterstaff. Incredible. As this is all happening, none of you have exchanged names with each other yet. But as this is happening, Grandma and your parents finish talking, and your parents begin to walk away, and Grandma holds you in one arm and waves and makes some sounds that your ribs and your bones rumble as Grandma speaks with you held against her and is saying something and waving at your parents as they leave. And with that, once your parents get back in their cars, or from your perspective, once they get back in the moving homes, they roll out. Grandma turns and walks into the foyer of her house with you and begins to take you back to the nursery, which is you all have a map of Grandma's house. It's in the back right corner of the first floor of her house. You're taken through a living room and into the nursery. The nursery itself, the walls are painted sky blue. The ceiling a kind of light, very light green. There are toys scattered, and those those puzzle piece styrofoam, or not styrofoam, those foamy puzzle piece placemat things. Those are on the floor for stuff. And you're kind of the first babies here today. There's no attendant in the room. There's none of the other adults that are often here in Grandma's house to assist her with all of the babies. I have dropped a dice. And you are brought into the nursery, and she kind of sets you all down on the foam puzzle pieces. And this is the heart of the baby world in Grandma's house. Normally, this is full of babies. None of them are here yet. And Grandma kind of sets you all down, and she sits on a couch, in a little rocking chair that's in the room, and she. You hear the kind of calming sound of her voice as you all continue to sort of speak with each other. Hoot, you haven't learned the names of any of these new babies. One of them did attack you. And
do you respond to me saying, "What's up, new kid"?
You're muted.
My response is just, yeah. That's me.
Well, you're not very good at talking, are you?
Sound like she smokes 30
Yeah.
cigarettes a day.
Do you do you have a vape? What's your deal?
This is just how I talk.
Gotta mute myself, or I'm just gonna be giggling this whole time.
And were you Did someone attack you with a crayon too? Is that what happened to your face?
I did this myself, actually.
Oh, so you were trying to help me. Okay.
Who are you anyway?
I'm Hoot.
Why'd your parents drop you off here? I've never seen you here before.
I think they abandoned me here.
That's what I would do if I were your parent.
I think
Yeah,
little guy. Sorry, go ahead.
it seemed like you wanted your parent to abandon you too.
Well, he's not even my real dad.
How do you know that?
Isn't it obvious?
You do remember your dad, Dianar. You do remember your dad
Okay.
before Chad Michael Murray came into your life.
And ruined it.
Lynn and little guy,
Why do you sound like Cartman now?
it's what's happened. It's what the voice is now. Little guy and Lynn, what are you doing while Dianar is like interrogating Hoot here? And you've learned Hoot's name, but Hoot still doesn't know any of your names.
I think
Are
little
we,
guy is just like, because we have been at daycare with each other before. It's just Hoot that's new. So I think little guy is like, don't worry too much. Dai's love is the prickly kind of love, but you'll get used to it. I'm Guy. I'm Lil Guy. What's your name? Oh, right. Hoot.
Holly, you had
We're like
Okay.
in the nursery now, right? And Grandma has left.
Grandma's
Okay.
still in the room. She's sitting at the rocking chair.
Lynn goes to her. Still doesn't really
Damn.
acknowledge anyone else
Mm-hmm.
as of
Okay,
yet.
yeah, I
and
guess.
And
don't
just
worry.
goes directly to her.
Oh, and don't worry. Our parents come back at the end of the day to get us, so I'm sure that'll be the same for you.
Always?
I mean, so far.
I wish they wouldn't.
Little guy, give me a history check.
Oh shit.
Let me go to my thing.
And
History.
Lynn, as you head over
History
to Grandma,
-1. Let's get it.
Grandma reaches down and picks you up. You know that thing where like adults will pick babies up by like hooking under their armpits and lifting up like this? She does that with one hand like this, and her fingers are on either side of you. It's like that easy for her with her massive hands. So she picks you up and brings you up, and kind of, you're like so tiny in her arm, but she's so gentle, and like you're so comforted by it, and she kind of starts rocking you. Lynn, I'm gonna need you to make I'm going to say it's a Constitution saving throw, please. But what did you get on your roll there, little guy?
I got 16 on my history check.
So with a 16, you have heard stories passed down of babies whose parents didn't show up at the end of the day to get them. But nobody this didn't happen to any of the babies that you actually know. It's like an urban legend. It's this urban legend of children who had to stay overnight at Grandma's house because their parents didn't come to pick them up. But you have never actually met a baby where that's really happened.
Yeah, so little guy like thinks about it, worried for a second, then is like, oh yeah, I mean, I've heard some stories of, parents not coming to pick them up, but I'm sure if our parents love us enough, they'll be there at the end of the day.
Amazing.
Lynn's a little grandma's pet. I bet she wishes her parents wouldn't pick her up.
Lynn casts Mage Hand and pushes Dianar down.
All right, well, before you do that, tell me how you did on the Constitution saving throw.
10.
You get a 10? You don't do that because you don't hear what Dianara says because you're asleep. You have fallen asleep in Grandma's arms. You're fully...
Well, if I was awake.
Yeah, you're fully asleep. So
Sweet
you did
baby.
not hear Dayanara say that because, but hey, Dayanara's called you Grandma's girl. So, but yeah, so you're fully asleep, and so you now know everybody. Names have now been said by everybody, so everybody knows each other's names. Thank God. It was going to drive me crazy if you guys never introduced each other.
I
and
wanted
gave
to. I
names.
wanted to keep it that way forever.
Oh, I knew you were doing it deliberately.
If we hadn't done it, I probably honestly would have just been like, we all exchange names.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would have just
we
been like,
did that.
so you tell each other your names, cool. Like I just would have done it. So yeah, so you're asleep, fully asleep, Lynn. And actually, it's been a couple of hours since you all woke up, and this is earlier than you normally get up and get to Grandma's house. So you're all kind of starting to feel a little groggy. Can I actually get Constitution saving throws from Hoot, Dayanara, and Lil Guy as well?
Okay. 11.
4.
18.
18. So Dayanara, after you're making that scathing insult of Lynn up in Grandma's arms, Grandma actually like stoops down and like puts Lynn like down on like there are the little soft beds laid out. She like rolls out a little like baby bed and places her in it, and then she rolls out 3 more next to it, and you like feel it. You're like, and so it comes on very quickly, and then you kind of stumble over to one of those and you fall asleep and you go into a nap yourself. But Little Guy, you're feeling it, but you haven't succumbed to it yet. And Hoot, you are wired. You're like, your parents might not come back to get you. You think you've been abandoned. So what do you two do? You now, 2 of them are asleep. Grandma's not left the room yet still, but she's placed out these beds, and you're feeling the weight of like an early morning. But obviously you both have a different kind of relationship to taking a nap at this time. But is there anything else anything you want to say to the new kid, or anything more you want to know from this seeming veteran of Grandma's house that Little Guy is? Also, how old is Little Guy, Adam? I don't think you said.
I'm just gonna say that he is like 18 months old.
Okay, 18 months.
Yeah.
And so, because that's a big cat. Are we assuming that this is still baby?
Remember, I'm not an actual cat.
Okay, true.
Yeah, he is a tabaxi. Yeah.
So what I'm looking at the map now, is there like a baby gate in front of the entryway into the living room?
There is a baby gate. It is not currently closed.
All right, I'm gonna try to make a break for it to go find my parents.
Okay.
I think the Little Guy like sees Hoot go like starting moving and sort of just comes up and starts like trotting alongside. It's like, what you doing?
I gotta go find my parents. I don't know what this thing did to them.
I mean, I've never seen, once they go for the day, I usually don't see them again, like, until the end of the day. So I don't know if they're in Grandma's house, or, oh, maybe they're hiding in some secret part of Grandma's house. That would be cool.
So she has them captured.
Oh, I don't know. We better go look.
We better go find them.
So for those watching at home, for those watching the VOD who want to know about the scale of things in this universe, the average height of a 2-year-old is 33 to 34 inches. The average height of a D&D character is 5.5 feet. So to scale, 33 to 34 inches is about 2.5 feet. So everything is at half scale for what it would be in our world. So 5 feet of movement at an adult scale is 10 feet of movement at baby scale. But Grandma is a half giant. She is 10 feet tall, so everything is 4 times bigger than it would normally be, including furniture, objects, doorways, rooms, etc. So everything's at 1/4 scale. So this nursery, which is pretty big and is about a 15 by 15 room, is a 60 by 60 space. So from where you are to the baby gate is about 40 to 50 feet away in baby scale. And from this point forward, I shall in fact refer to things as baby feet away. So this is about 50 baby feet to the baby gate.
Cool. I'll cast jump on myself and also dash.
All right, so that doubles your
I'm
movement.
just gonna make a break for it.
What does jump do?
It triples my jumping distance.
Okay. So your jumping distance is your strength modifier. Oh god, jump in D&D is so confusing because it's not about height, it's about distance.
Yeah.
Well, it's about both. There's like a way to measure both, but I can't.
So you
You're the one who gave me a
you can
jumping break.
normally
You need to figure it
jump.
out.
You can normally jump a number of feet equal to, in terms of jumping, how high you can jump. You can jump 3 plus your strength modifier and height. And in terms of jump distance, hold on. Here we go. Long jump distance. You can cover a number of feet up to your strength score. Yeah, you can do a number of feet up to your strength score. So not your modifier, your score. So what is your strength score?
13.
So you times 3, you can jump 36 feet after you cast jump on yourself.
39.
39 feet, and you can do the
So
dash
I'm gonna
action.
make it to the door.
Yeah, you can take the dash action. So you do that. Would you please roll initiative? And little guy, if
I
you're participating, would you
absolutely
also
will.
roll initiative, please?
Sure. Yeah, I think little.
We're gonna fight Grandma.
Lil guy's just like following along and like is just saying like, "Wow, you're making me think about all kinds of things I've never thought about before." And then whatever's happening to us begins to happen.
All right, what initiatives did you roll?
I got a 9.
So I got an 8, but I believe I have advantage on initiative because of my booties of elven kind. No, because of my quarterstaff of warning.
No,
Okay.
the quarterstaff of warning just means you can't be surprised.
You have advantage while the weapon is on your person. You have advantage on initiative rolls.
Oh, sorry, that is part of what it does. You can roll that again to get better than an 8.
Well, I didn't, so 8.
You got an 8? Amazing. Grandma rolled a 1 for her initiative.
Hell yeah.
And she gets plus 35 to her initiative from her initiative bonus. She's a level 20 character. So, and
But
then
isn't
that's scaled up.
a critical miss?
It is not a critical failure on initiatives, though. Like, that's just the lowest possible number you can get. You can't critically fail an initiative roll. So she does get to go before either one of you, but you've surprised her. I'm not going to say you didn't make that distance. You jumped that distance and ran, and then we rolled initiative. So you did that. So you've made it to the baby gate, and you're looking out into the living room. And as you're looking out into the living room, give me a perception check, Hoot. And little guy, give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh,
I'm rolling like shit. I got a 12
8.
perception check.
And what was that, sorry, for Constitution saving? 8. As you go to run after Hoot, who's like making you think things you've never thought before, the sheer weight of the ideas about the world that he's given you actually feel like a physical weight, and you kind of teeter over and fall asleep. And fall into a nap. Hoot, at the baby gate with a 12, you do actually get to see something before Grandma's massive hands encircle you and pick you up in her hands to prevent you from escaping. You see out in the living room, you see 2 things. You hear and see up and to your left on a kind of high table is a massive glass structure full of water, and you can see swimming in it are like goldfish and various other kinds of fish are swimming, and they're all like pressed kind of looking down at you at the entranceway. And you also see lumbering into the room a massive dog. lumbers into the room. A big dog lumbers into the room, and this dog goes, "Oh, a new face here. Oh, Grandma's gonna take good care of you, son. Don't you worry. You're in the best of hands." And he says that as the hands close around you and pick you up. Would you please make another Constitution saving throw?
Okay.
Is it understood that babies
Fuck.
can just naturally talk to
Oh,
animals?
11. I got an 11.
Yeah, so Jasper, you got 11. Sorry, what was that, Holly?
Is it just assumed now that as babies we can just understand animals?
Yes. You would know that you can, in fact, you know this dog. I mean, you're not conscious to know it, but you know who that dog is. Like, that's Grandma's dog, Herbert. And he's a bloodhound. He's very old. He was Grandma's familiar when she was a warrior. He's a very old dog, but he's a very good boy. And yes, you can speak to animals. In fact, a lot of the other groups, factions, life in Grandma's house that you know of are animals that you can speak with as a baby.
So, important question of order then. If I know the spell speak with animals, what does it work on?
What does the spell speak with animals work on in this context? The spell speak...
Adults.
It does not work on adults.
That would be amazing.
It does not
Stuffed
work on
animals.
adults.
Stuffed animals.
Ooh.
I was just gonna say it works on non-living, like sentient things, because there
Gotcha.
are
Toy Story
other
different.
things in the so it wouldn't use it to speak to Herbert the dog, but you might use it to speak to a stuffed teddy bear, for example. So what did you get, Sora? You got an 11 on the Constitution saving throw?
11, yeah.
As you get picked up and you get carried over to the bed and sort of laying down in the spot, you're like fighting this, especially because you don't want to go to sleep.
Unhand me, you villain.
Yeah. And you just hear a cooing sound from Grandma as she lays you on the soft blanket, and the exertion of the day does start to wear on you, and you do fall asleep.
What the fuck? Adam rolled an 11 earlier, and he didn't fall
The
asleep.
DC was increasing because you were attempting to avoid falling asleep. So it did start at DC 10, and then it kept going up. So you fall asleep. This counts as a long rest. If you've used any abilities or done anything up to this point, such as casting Cause Fear on your stepfather, or anything like that, you can retrieve all these things because this is a long rest. You sleep, and actually...
Chad Michael-Murray.
Oh, sorry, what was that, Adam?
Nothing. I'm just still laughing at actual Chad Michael-Murray.
I mean, it's incredible. As you're sleeping, for the first time in a few nights, Hoot, in a few naps, because you don't necessarily measure days in terms of like being awake then going to sleep, because you're babies, you nap during the day. This is the first nap in a long while where you don't dream about what you saw where your parents work. Something about the house, Grandma's presence, the exhaustion, the shock of it all, you can't be sure, but you don't dream of that battlefield. You don't dream of the gods as tall as mountains slamming into each other. Those dreams do not come to you during this rest. As you begin to stir from this, you realize there's a lot more noise and sound in the nursery as you start to wake up. You don't know how much time has passed, but the sun is now out and it's much more brightly lit. Grandma is gone from the nursery, and instead an attendant who Hoot, you wouldn't have any context for this, but Dayanara, Lynn, and Lil Guy, you know that the attendants are other adults who work with Grandma to help maintain order and whatever inscrutable thing that it is Grandma is doing to that sort of defines the parameters of your world. But there's an attendant now sitting in the rocking chair in the room. But more importantly, the nursery is now full of other babies. There are at least 30 other babies in the nursery at the moment. And that's not even the full complement of all babies that are probably here in Grandma's house now that we're into the day. There are groups of babies all over the place, some whom you know fairly well, who are listed in your lore cheat sheet if you want to know the names of some specific babies who you'd be aware of. But a lot of these are babies that you know of, you know their names. You're not very necessarily close with any of these babies. These babies all have kind of their own own groups and factions. You see some babies who are off in a corner. They're all sort of kitted out with like, you know, one of them's got like a little like suction cuppy like bow and arrow, like with a little suction cup arrow at the end, and he's like testing the string on it, and they're kind of like hiking like supplies, like he's hiking a couple of diapers over his shoulder and like attaching them like around himself. And you know, these are the wanderers, babies who travel through the house to like find out and learn about what's going on in the house outside of the nursery, which is kind of the baby's safety zone. Not all parts of Grandma's house are safe, after all. So you see the wanderers over there. You see more towards the center of the room, speaking with sort of earnestly with a bunch of different babies in the center. You can see Sammy Binns, who's a little halfling baby. He is the oldest baby in the nursery at the moment. He is over 2 years old now. He is, let me get his exact age for you. See Sammy Binns, he's 2 years, 10 months old. So he is well into the process of the tempering, but he's still the oldest baby and quite wise, and is in fact Grandma's grandson, and is the oldest baby here. You see some other babies all over the place. You see Higgs Klemp, a dragonborn baby. He's a younger one, only 11 months old. He's currently like applying a bandage to a little scrape on a baby's arm. And like the baby is like sitting there with another baby, and they're like holding like foam swords, and they were clearly like dueling and like practicing dueling. And Higgs Klemp, who's a cleric, is kind of patching that up. A cleric of the divine parent, he is patching that up. And would all four of you you're sitting next to each other, you've been lying next to each other during as you were sleeping, Dianara, you rolled over and put an arm around Lynn, and so you've woken up with like one arm like draped over Lynn's shoulder as you're both waking up. I don't know how Dianara reacts to the revelation that she cuddled up to Lynn during their nap, but that is where you find yourself. And would you all please make perception checks for me?
Sure. Anything for you, big guy.
Just a little guy doing things for you, big guy.
Nat 20, 27.
Nat 20.
I also got a nat 20.
Oh!
For 27.
Oh!
Oh, sorry, Adam, that didn't come through quite right. What did you say?
19.
A 19. Wow. And Jasper?
I don't want to talk about it.
Did you nat 1?
No, I got a 13.
You got a 13. Well, it's okay. Even with a 13, you noticed this because this was an incredibly low DC. Although Holly, or rather Lynn and Dianara, you're going to see a little bit more about this. You all notice that you're missing something. As soon as you wake up, you are missing something. Lynn, your sequined blanket is gone.
Get ready for the biggest tantrum of your fucking lives.
Hoot, your shovel is nowhere to be seen. Dianara, your voodoo doll is no longer up your sleeve where you last put it. And Lil Guy, what was your fixation object? I don't think you said.
I did too. It's in my notes for my character.
No, you said it to me, but I don't think you've said it out loud since we started playing.
It's a ball of yarn.
Yes, your ball of yarn is also, you can't find it anywhere. It's gone. It's no longer on your person. But Dianara and Lynn, with your nat 20, not only do you notice that your own things are gone, but you also notice that Hoot and Lil Guy are also looking around for something that's clearly missing. You both notice across the room, near the foot of the attendant who's sitting in the rocking chair, you can see a group of 3 babies staring directly at you, and one of them, who's kind of up in the front, is kind of like grinning, like has a nasty grin on his face. And you recognize Rollick Rugsburn, who is a goblin baby. He's a little goblin baby, and he's just eyeing the 4 of you from across the room and has like a smirk plastered across his face. Now, what you know about Rollick is that Rollick Rugsburn, He's a goblin baby. He's the nursery's equivalent of like the mob or the mafia. He and a few other babies, they're all the children of villainous parents, one might say, within the logic of Dragon World, although of course villains and heroes work together like in the theme park, so it's not like their parents are evil. Their parents just play villains at work. And he kind of has with his, they have a bit of power that they kind of wield here in the nursery. They have a bit of power and influence both here in the nursery and outside in the house. They tend to get the best Cheerios from the box, the ones that are really covered in the sugar and salt at the bottom. Those always go to Rollick and his boys first when those are getting divvied out. The best toys go to them at the start of the day. And this kind of waxes and wanes. Their influence and their power is determined not necessarily by their strength, their relative strength compared to other babies, but because Rollick has a trump card that no other baby in the nursery has, in that his older sister is an attendant. And so he has a bit more power and influence in the nursery because of that. But that being said, he's not necessarily an incredibly strong baby compared to anyone else, but he just has kind of friends in high places, literally and figuratively. But you can see him and a couple of his goonies staring at you from across the nursery.
Okay, so Dayanara's she's gonna look at him from across the nursery and she's gonna go, "Oh, Oxford, cut the crap! Give us our stuff back! My mom gave me that doll!"
Wait, hold on. Please tell more about that. Tell us more about your fixation object and that little detail.
Yeah, her mom gave her the doll.
When her mom gave her the doll,
That's why it works.
So her mom made a voodoo doll of Chad Michael Murray and gave it to her. She did not turn it into a voodoo doll of Chad Michael Murray.
Yes. Well, she doesn't have that. She doesn't have those spells.
Perfect. Incredible.
What?
Incredible.
That her mom is not thinking too much about the consequences of that. She was just like, sure.
Be fun practice.
Incredible.
Chad Michael Murray, his efforts go unappreciated at home.
So you see this and you call that out, which means Hoot, you and Little Guy also immediately look up and see who Dayanar is yelling at Rollick across the room. And Rollick is over there and he's kind of, he's doing that thing that he's doing that baby sit where he's like sitting and like, he's there in his diaper and he's sitting at the base of the rocking chair and his legs are kind of splayed out in front of him. And he kind of like looks to either side of him at the two cronies he's got on either side of them. Either side of him, one of whom is a dwarf, a red-haired dwarven girl, and then the other one is a hobgoblin, who is a red-skinned hobgoblin on his left. And Rollick kind of lifts up his hand and kind of gestures towards you like this to come across the room to where he is.
Come on, guys, let's go. Let's get our stuff back.
Okay.
He doesn't hesitate and says, "Yeah, let's go. You too.
You too, new kid.
Yeah, new kid. Come on.
Yeah. Are we sure?
Absolutely. I'm gonna fuck this kid up." And just goes.
Little guy's
Okay,
like, no, and then goes.
I'll follow like 5 baby feet behind them.
Okay. So you sort of make your way across.
Never referencing distance in baby feet.
Yeah. Yeah, he's about 30 baby feet away. And you make your way across the room.
Dayanara's rolling her sleeves up, but they're falling down along the way, and she's one, so she also like trips halfway through to him and like gets back up
But there are
and like
babies.
toddles over menacingly.
There are babies all over the place, like in various like lumbering states of walking. Some who are younger, who are fully crawling, and you sort of make your way across the crowded nursery towards them. Don't mind me.
Now I will ask this, Ross. I can't see our items on them, right? Like I can't see them anywhere.
You cannot see your items on them. No. What is everybody's passive perception?
17.
17.
Same for me.
15. I'm a dumb little baby.
Okay, cool. Good to know. Thank you. So yeah, you make your way over, and no, even with those nat 20s, Lynn and Dinar, you do not actually see any of your missing stuff. But as you sort of approach, and you're now at the base of the rocking chair where the attendant is seated, you're at the base of the rocking chair where Rollick is, and you recognize his two goons that he has on either side of him here. The Hobgoblin is named... sorry, excuse me. The Hobgoblin is named Vol Yongspur, but everybody calls him Timid. And the ginger dwarf girl is Yawn Whitehaven, but just so Yawn is her name. And you would know that Yawn is mute. Yawn is unable to speak. She does not talk. And you would recognize them all as, members of Rollick's game. But as you come up, Rollick kind of sees you approach, and he goes, "Dianara, it's always nice to hear your calming voice from across the room, just yelling my name. I'm glad you guys saw me. I've been meaning to speak with you. It took long enough to wake up this morning."
Aw, what a nice compliment to start off our discussions.
Are you two related?
I don't have time to listen to your crap, Rugsburn. Just tell us where you hid our stuff.
Oh, we're just jumping right into it, are we? Timid. This is the kind of man as I get when I'm trying to be out here conducting business. Because it sounds
I
to
cast
me...
vicious mockery on him and say, you know what? We might have more time to listen to you if your parents didn't scrub toilets at Dragon World.
Oof.
Damn, this bard, I love how Holly is like, I'm not going to make a paladin or a barbarian. I'm not going to make a paladin or a barbarian. I'm going to make a bard, but I'm just going to still go into a rage. What is vicious mockery I got to do there?
It's a saving throw of 15 on wisdom.
Wisdom saving throw?
Yep.
He does not make it with a 13. So he has what? Disadvantage on...
Yeah, so he takes 7 psychic damage and has a disadvantage on the next attack roll if he makes one.
Okay.
And if we were in initiative, it would be before the end of his next turn.
Mm-hmm. So you cast vicious mockery on him, which he knows that you've just done, and he kind of like boom, gets hit by it, this little thing of magic, and he goes, "Oh, bad idea." And the attendant who's sitting in the chair above him leans forward and reaches down and touches Rollick on the head, and he is healed for 40. Hold on.
Just a few hit points.
He's healed for 45 hit points. And that attendant then reaches out and pushes you over, and you are knocked prone. He still has disadvantage on his next attack, but he is not hurt.
This attendant sucks.
She pushes you over and knocks you prone.
Yeah, I love his way of dealing with babies. This 2-year-old is like, no.
And Rollick goes, "Listen, we can have a discussion here. I haven't attacked you. I just may have found some things of yours and put them somewhere safe for the time being. And I think it would be very easy for me to get them back to you. But it just really feels to me like this is a situation where You scratch my back and maybe I'll scratch yours a bit. How's that sound?
Gosh, Rugburn, why do you have to be such a turd all the time?
Here's my yarn.
Yeah, Rollick, imagine being able to do things for yourself and not with the help of your fucking tall-ass loser friend.
Hey, don't you call my sister a tall-ass loser, okay? She's
Did you
actually
just say your
cool.
sister was-
Loser.
Did you just say your sister was hot?
She, no, that was a misspeak by the DM and not a thing that the character said. And also, she's not tall, she's a normal height for a goblin.
Tall-ass loser.
Wow, okay, I guess you don't have, maybe you don't want to see your blanket again there, Lynn. I guess maybe that's just gonna stay in the safe place where I put it. Or
So
do you
when
want to
he
hear
says
what I
that-
have to say?
What do
when
you
he says
want?
that,
Hmm?
He reacts for sure.
He does,
When he says that, he
yeah.
reacts again.
And what does Lynn do this time?
Cantrip Mage Hand and pushes him over.
Okay. Okay, you can do that. Make a strength check
Would it be strength since it's Mage Hand?
for the mage hand
Maybe use your intelligence
to push him over. I guess it would be intel,
or
but
whatever
like
your spellcasting.
I was gonna say, I guess it's your spellcasting modifier since mage hand
Wouldn't
isn't
be
like
charisma.
attacking though. But yeah, you can go ahead and do it with intelligence. He's gonna resist with strength though.
Isn't Bard's casting power from charisma?
Yeah, but you can also just see it on your sheet. Like, here, 1 second.
Well, you just use it as a spell attack.
Yeah.
Whatever your spell attack modifier is, just use that.
Yeah. So yours is
Okay.
+7, Holly.
17.
You tie, you meet it, you beat it, so I guess you do knock him over, but he's like, oh my god, Lynn! And you like push him down, and he's like, listen, this doesn't have to, and then Timid is gonna cast Hellish Rebuke on you.
Oh.
Casting that at level 1. He's gonna do my d10s here. And that is going to be 8 fire damage coming your way, but you can make a dexterity saving throw.
I will.
Is Timid wearing a diaper?
22.
You are all wearing diapers.
Okay, I'm going to use Prestidigitation. One of the things I can do is instantaneously soil an object. So I'm going to make him shit his pants.
Well, you don't make him shit his pants, but you make it look like he has shit his diaper, yes. It's like, Prestidigitation does not give you the power to empty someone's bowels involuntarily, but it absolutely can make it look like you've done that. You
I
still
think they're
take...
adding that in the new edition.
Yeah, you still take 4 points of fire damage, Lynn, from the Hellish Rebuke. You take half damage with the dexterity saving throw. So you take that. He just did that, but that was just a level 1. He didn't use a higher level spell slot. He just used a level 1. It was more of like, you've pushed down his boss. He's hitting you with like a warning Hellish Rebuke, just like, hey, like this, we keep this up, it escalates. You make it look like he pooped himself. Does Prestidigitation create smell or just appearance?
I think you can create smell with it.
It can include an odd odor.
An odd odor. Yep. Okay. So I want to do that in the hopes that the attendant will take him out of the situation to change his diaper.
For sure. The attendant does, in fact, reach down and pick up Timid and take him over to a table where they change diapers and begins changing his diaper. That does happen. Timid has been removed from this encounter. Everybody give me an insight check.
Okay.
16.
11.
16.
12.
Okay. You don't pick up on anything when that happens. Unfortunately, like nothing happens on that. You don't notice anything. But as Timid gets taken away, Jan is still here, and Rollick goes, "Listen, we can do this all day. We can trade bombs. We can cast magic. We can push each other over. And honestly, I'll have more fun with that than anything, honestly. But if you guys want your stuff back, then you might want to listen to what I have to say. Shockingly, Dianara's the one here with the most sense in her head today, asking what I want, which is the question you should all be asking yourselves."
What do you want?
Thank you. No, yeah,
Told me I
yeah,
should ask it.
yeah, no, little guy. No, it's fine. Yeah. So you three and the new kid. All right.
Why not just say you four?
Oh, I did want to single you out. It's a thing I do. You know, I single people
I'm
out.
going to use prestidigitation on
People out
him to make him shit
dickhead.
his pants too.
Is this a cantrip?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have it too.
All right, so he has now shit his pants too.
I
Probably
also
very
cast
powerful.
prestidigitation and make it look like he also shit his pants.
A double shit pants.
Double shit pants.
She's like, you do this, and he goes, "All right, guys. Guess you'll see your stuff later." And the attendant starts coming over to pick him up to change his diaper. Reaches down, picks him up, and takes him up to change his diaper, and you're left with Jan, who can't speak.
I want to use an investigation, do an investigation check to see if I can find my stuff.
Yeah, go for it. Give me an investigation check.
Nat 20.
With a nat 20, you know that you've never been in this house before. You don't know where anything is. You have no idea what the layout is, even what parts of the house the baby. You know a lot of stuff with this nat 20. It's all the stuff you don't know. You know that this Rollick Rugsburn guy seems to know where your stuff is. Was pretty clear about that in what he was saying. With a nat 20, you do not see it anywhere in the nursery, though. You start looking around. You start sensing your shovel is like your fixation object. You can spot it in a pile of junk, in a toy chest, like at home, for example. You know exactly where the shovel is. You're looking around. You don't see anybody else in the nursery with it. You don't see it anywhere amongst the toys that are being played with. But with a nat 20, you know for sure it's not here in the nursery.
Are there crayons and paper and stuff around that we would play with?
Yeah.
I bring some over to Jan, and I'm like, Jan, draw where the stuff is.
Diana, you were gonna do something?
Oh yeah. Dianar was just gonna go, "God damn it, you guys," and then shit her pants so that she can get picked up and put next to Rollick.
That sounds like a Constitution saving throw to me.
So weirdly, what I'm going to need you to do is I'm going to need you to make a Constitution saving throw, and you want to roll low.
But I'm doing it deliberately.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I guess this is just deciding whether you actually have to shit.
I got a nat 20?
Okay, weirdly in this context, a nat 20 is still good. I'm still going to honor this, obviously. You goddamn it, guys.
You strained so hard.
Fucking... Can we just say, we're playing D&D. You now get to say, I rolled a nat 20 on trying to shit myself when playing Dungeons & Dragons. So there you go.
And I want you to know that this I am so fucking happy. This is why I did this. Is so that we could have this moment. Somebody nat 20s trying to poop their pants. On a nat 20, you succeed. Actually, you succeed because I said you wanted a low number. You succeed beyond your wildest dreams. You have your diaper is fit to bursting. You like let out everything. You were like saving something up because you were like thinking you were going to poop your diaper to really get Chad Michael Murray, your father. You were like, I'm going to give him a real stinker of a one. And here on this nat 20, you let that all out into the diaper. And
He's my stepfather.
Your stepfather, and it is rank. And I do want the three of you, and also Jan, to make wisdom saving throws. Everybody make a wisdom saving throw.
I can't believe
Jan nat 20s and has no reaction whatsoever to the stink.
I rolled a nat.
You rolled a nat 1?
Oh, God.
It's
My
perfect.
cat, like, sense of smell.
Lynn, Hoot, how'd you do?
I rolled a 12.
Sorry, Lynn, what'd you get?
A 2. Sorry, I'm like,
It was a number
I'm
2.
losing my mind.
Okay.
Woo!
Lynn and little guy, you both take 5 points of necrotic damage. And sure enough, making sounds, speaking in that impossible to understand way, the attendant does come over, Dianar, and scoop you up and bring you up to the table with Rollick. Rollick and Timid are sitting there, diapers undone on their back, and look over at you, being the third place. They turn, so you're like lying next to Rollick on the diaper change thing, and he goes, "Excellent, we can continue our conversation." I'm sorry, I have to keep it together about this.
Do they have to make wisdom saving throws too?
Oh, sorry, what?
Do they have to make wisdom saving throws too?
Yeah, they do. Hold on.
He says that and then reacts to the overwhelming amount of dumpy in that diaper.
They both succeed on their wisdom saving throws.
Ah, bastards.
Rollick has a +8 to wisdom. Saving throws. Before we pick up there, though, I am going to resolve I can't emphasize this enough. Next level gameplay. Next level gameplay from Megan there. Absolutely incredible. I'm going to resolve what you did there, little guy, first. So you bring that over to Jan and are like, where's our stuff? And Jan takes the crayon and she starts like scribbling on it. And to an adult, these would be nonsense scribbles, no rhyme or reason or logic to them. But in the world of babies, she maps out a complicated, deep, layered kind of explanation of the situation to you. And the three of you who are not up on the changing table will learn the same information that I'm about to communicate to Dianara. But first, yes, Lynn.
Can I cast Detect Thoughts on them?
You can cast Detect Thoughts on them, sure.
Nice, I do that.
Hold on one sec.
I feel like I hand over this crayon and then I'm like, draw where our stuff is. And then I smell the dookie. And it's like doing that cat thing when they smell something bad. They're like,
You cast Detect Thoughts. Who are you targeting with Detect Thoughts?
Jan?
Just Jan? Okay, yeah, so you're going to get the same information from Jan, from Jan's thoughts as she is drawing on this, to you, completely understandable scribbling of lines in random colors and stuff and shapes. And Dianara up on the table, what I'm describing to Dianara here is something that you all gain through your various means of communicating here. But Rollick turns to you, Dianara, and says, Dianara, here's the deal, okay? There's something that I want, okay? There's something that I want, and I'm not able to go get it right now, you know? I'm in a situation, gotta take care of some things here on the home front, the nursery, some things, some business needs my attention, and I'm not able to go get something that's very important to me. Important enough that I rescued you and your friends, important little items. So I have some, something to give you the motivation that matches my own to go get this thing that I want. All right? Here's what I need for you to do. I need you to go to the upstairs bathroom of Grandma's house, and I need you to bring me the white goop.
What?
And you may make an Arcana check. Oh, actually, here, let me do this. I'll give you a choice here. History, Arcana, or Insight. You will get different information depending on which one you go with.
I'll do Arcana.
Okay.
An 11.
An 11. With an 11, you know that the white goop is... You've seen Grandma applying it to herself. It's like a large kind of cauldron, a plastic cauldron, so like a little product container that has a like white semi-solid semi-liquid substance in it, and you've seen Grandma apply this stuff to her skin. It is some kind of magical... It's some sort of substance associated with adults. So it's from the world of adult power and magic. And you don't know what it does, but you know that Grandma, who is an incredibly powerful adult, uses it. And that's what you know.
All right, Rugsburn, I've had enough with your shit. And why do you want the white goop? Why do you want it?
Listen, my reasons are my own. That's none of your business. Your role in this is just to get the white goop and bring it back.
And then we'll get our stuff back?
And then you'll get your stuff back. I'll give it to you right away. Fair is fair. A trade. I'm a businessman, Dianara. I do business here. And I'm in the business of getting me that white goop. So you get that, you bring that back to me, I'll give you your stuff back. Exactly the way it was when I found it.
Can I cast Locate Object?
Yeah. You're casting Locate Object on your voodoo doll?
For my voodoo doll, yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
I just want to, I guess, to make sure that he's, like, not lying and that it still exists.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so how do I do this?
Good idea.
I think it just Ross has to tell you if it's within 1,000 feet of you.
Yeah, you just
I
cast
can
it.
sense its direction. If it's in motion, I know the direction of its movement. Yeah.
Yeah, it lasts for 10 minutes. It's a concentration spell. You don't have to make any kind of roll for it. It's fully just like...
Yeah, it just shows me the direction.
And you cast it, and you get nothing back. But you know that doesn't necessarily mean that your voodoo doll is gone or destroyed. It might simply be somewhere that is blocking the ability for Locate Object to detect it.
So Grandma casually has a box of lead?
Note the description says that the lead can be of any thickness.
But that's only for when it's specifically locating it within 30 feet. Doesn't the within 1,000 feet thing apply? Like, I can still sense the direction?
No, this spell cannot locate an object if any thickness of lead, even a thin sheet, blocks a direct path between you and the object. The 30 feet thing is just what objects you can locate, are objects that you've been within 30 feet of and seen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
appreciate the hustle
I
using
shouldn't have
that
taken this
spell
spell.
because that makes a lot of sense. But I also had a feeling that Ross would.
Ross just made it
find a way
impossible,
to-
so I wish I had taken
Yeah.
Ross just put it in somehow. This grandmother
in
that runs a
lead.
nursery has lead.
Yeah, so unfortunately, you cast locate object, and you're
Okay.
not able to know the direction of the object. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't exist; just that it's blocked from you being able to see. Yeah, Lynn.
I put a comment in the chat, but hey, would this baby not be an accessory to murder if Chad Michael Murray dies if that's in an airtight container?
I mean, you do
It
as
suddenly became
babies.
so much more real.
As babies, you have no concept of the idea of death.
I mean, fair. Okay.
And Rolik
Still
definitely
fucked
doesn't
up.
know that it does that. You know what I mean?
All right, well, how do we know you'll give it back?
Oh,
You play games all the time.
Diana, but I play. But it's no fun playing games if you can't. If you win all the time. I let people win my games sometimes, and this is a chance for you to win the game. If I get what I want, you get what you want. Listen, if I'm not true to my word, my credibility's shot here. Trust me.
I want some kind of guarantee.
What would it take, Diana? What would it take to give you a guarantee? And as this conversation is happening, your diapers are being changed actively by this attendant. That is still happening as you lie side by side on this changing table.
Like,
Attendant
I
just, like,
assume.
while you're having this conversation, just like, oh my god, huh?
Can
I
we have the
assume.
attendant make a
Obviously,
wisdom
like.
saving throw?
She nat 20'd.
She's used to this.
Baby, changing baby shit.
Yeah, I assume he's not going to tell me where it is, because then we could just go to try and find where it is instead of finding the thing he wants. But, like, is there a way that he could let me, like, scry it without telling me exactly where it is?
Does scry allow you to look at an object? Because if so, that should be fine, actually. Let me just double check that. As long as scrying lets you look at an object.
Yeah, I think it's a person or object.
Now it says you can see and hear a particular creature you choose that is on the same plane of existence as you.
Oh, no, yeah, it's just a creature.
But the voodoo doll is connected to Chad Michael Murray. So if you want to cast scry, I will allow you to cast scry.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to do it to try and see if I can see my object and just, like, what's around it.
For sure.
It just succeeds unless the voodoo doll is going to make a saving throw.
Nope. Yeah, if you just want to cast scrying, so that's you're casting that at a 5th level. That's a 5th level spell slot to cast that. Pudge has jumped in to participate, and he's showing his cat butt as part of DMing here today. So you cast scry. What does it look like when Dianara casts scry?
She just closes her eyes, and then, like, all the veins, like, pop on her forehead, like she's concentrating as hard as possible.
Thank God you already shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do that, and you get like swimming into your vision, like on like kind of like swimming into your vision on the underside of your eyelids. You see the voodoo doll. In fact, you see the voodoo doll kind of like lying on a surface with the shovel kind of like against it, a sequined blanket kind of thrown over both of them, and then a ball of yarn is kind of rolled away. But you can just see the end of the yarn, but the ball itself is like apparently rolled away from the other objects and is out of view. This is cast in a very faint pool of light, and you can't really see anything outside of it. It's all dark. But you do, in fact, see your voodoo doll and the other fixation objects around it. And
What does the room look like?
You can't make out any of the rest of the room. It's pitch dark.
Okay.
It's in a box.
Can I do like an Arcana check to see if I know like what kind of magic would be holding it to make it pitch dark like that?
I'm not even gonna make you roll. It's not magic. It's just wherever it is, there's no light.
Oh, okay. Got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop scrying, and I'm still, on the dipey table next to Rollick Rugsburn, and I'm gonna be like, "All right, Rugsburn." Spit in my hand and shake his hand.
Rollick sees spit in his ear. It's like, I knew we could come to an agreement. And then he like extends his goblin tongue out and goes and shakes your hand. Instead of spitting on it, he licks his hand all the way up and shakes your hand. And the attendant finishes doing up your diapers and brings the three of you back down. So you're all back at the base of the rocking chair. Lynn, Hoot, little guy, you got all of that information as well through a combination of detecting Jan's thoughts and Jan's scribbling. So but Dianara communicates that, she's actually seen your fixation objects. They are safe. They're just away. They're somewhere that you can't locate. But that information has all been communicated to you.
So Jan does not draw like a route to.
Jan does not draw a route to where you're going to go. Absolutely not. No, she does not do that. She just communicates what Rollick was going to tell you before he got taken away. Yes, Lynn.
I don't discern like any other information, even if it's unrelated to the task at hand.
Give me an insight check and give it to me with advantage from the detect thoughts on Jan.
First roll's a 15. Next roll's a 20. 20.
So dirty 20?
Yep.
Okay. With a dirty 20, Jan, with detect thoughts with Jan, you realize Jan doesn't actually know where the objects are. She did not hide them. So she doesn't actually know where they've been taken. She knows that Rollick has a bunch of hidey holes around the house that him and his gang have sniffed out over the years. Well, not over the years, over the weeks, because that's our scale of time here. Over the weeks. So you know that he has a bunch of hidey holes. It could be in any one of them, but it would take you a while to search for them. You do get two pieces of really crucial information. The first piece of information you get is that because Jan is thinking about this, you're reminded that you won't be coming back to Grandma's house for a couple of days after today. You guys don't have a concept of the week, but it's a Friday. And so your parents will be home from work over the weekend. So you won't be coming back to Grandma's house until Monday. So you'll have to go a whole 2 days without your fixation objects because Rollick does not intend to give them back to you unless you get what he's looking for. And you know that that's part of his plan from Jan. With a dirty 20, the other thing you learn is that the thing that Rollick wants, he does not want it for himself. He is not asking for you to bring the magical goop for him. But you don't know who he wants it for or why he wants it. Jan doesn't even know that. But you know that he doesn't want it for himself. Okay. With that done, you are here at the base of the rocking chair with Rollick, Timid, and Jan. You've just learned this information. You have the cheat sheet I've given you, which has a lot of information about what's outside of the nursery to kind of think about maybe how you might want to approach doing this. If you look at the map of the house, you can see where the bathroom is. It's in the master bedroom on the 4th floor of the house. That is where Rollick wants you to go to get what he's asking for. There's lots of stuff in the house. There are other babies here in the nursery you can speak to about stuff. You can try to make your way there and get past the attendants and stuff. You are no longer confined to the nursery. The baby gate is open, and the babies are allowed to leave the nursery. The attendants don't stop that, so they can go out into the living room. You have a goal in order to retrieve your items. It is up to you how you want to approach solving this problem. Rollick, Timid, and Jan are still here if you want to ask them anything else. I leave it up to you how you want to approach solving this problem.
Is this like the equivalent of a town?
Yes.
I want to go to the baby blacksmith to try to acquire replacement smith tools.
Okay, this is incredible for two reasons. One, because I am going to now implement... I have literally made a way to do the Kriegasm rewards from the assignment from the stream. I will name characters that I did not give names to based on people who have outstanding Kriegasms. So as you make your way into... hold on one sec. Carpet crawlers, blacksmith. As you make your way out into the nursery in search of a blacksmith, you do see over in a corner there is a baby. They've got a kind of like, they've got a little bit of hair growing in, but it's only growing in straight down the middle. It's a bit of a floppy mohawk in the middle of blonde hair. And they are like, you know those like baby construction toy sets where they like they can like hammer them and stuff? He's doing that. He's working on one of those, and he's literally like hammering a foam end of a sword back onto the handle to like repair a toy's foam sword. And as you come over, and as you come over to this blacksmith, he turns to see you and he goes, "Oh, hi there. You're new here, I believe. I don't believe we've met. My name is Cornelius. It's very nice to meet you. Cornelius Wintersnout. What's your name? It's nice to meet you."
My name's Hoot. Yeah, I'm new here. This is my first day here, and some jerkwad stole some stuff from us.
Oh no, did Rollick steal some stuff from you?
Yeah. So I
That's worse, man. I'm so sorry.
I admire the work you're doing here. I was wondering if you had a spare set of tools that I could use.
A spare set of tools? Well, yeah, you know what? I might have something here. Hold on one second. And he like goes down into a pile of like plastic pieces he has next to him, like literally like parts of toys and stuff that like have been like, orphaned from whatever toy they were a part of, that he just keeps on hand to like repair and fix toys and stuff. And he kind of reaches into it and he pulls out a like what looks kind of like a deflated, like what were they called, the like balloony punching gloves,
like sock'em boppers.
Yeah. He pulls out like a partially deflated sock'em bopper, and he like has patched it with some tape. And he takes that, and he takes the like handle from like some other toy, maybe a foam sword or something, and he kind of puts them on his like table, and he like hammers away at them, and he like inflates the Rock'em Sock'em a bit, and he hands it to you as a kind of like hammer, a makeshift hammer that he kind of builds for you. It's like, hopefully this will help you out a bit. Free of charge, your first one, since Rollick is such a jerk. He comes in here, he's always messing with people. He's always trying to like do business. Like none of us even know what that means. And he's always here doing stuff. But I hope you're able to get back what he took from you. And he gives you this, and you have access to smithing tools for the duration with this item.
Cool.
My nasally kid voice is my best voice. Just comes from somewhere deep inside.
So, okay, I do have a question. So, how, like, from first floor to fourth floor, how many baby feet tall is this house?
How many baby feet tall is this house? Here, let me do some quick math for you. I haven't actually calculated the height of the house in baby feet, but we're gonna say this times this.
Fourth floor. There's no fourth floor on the map aside from an attic.
Sorry, third floor. My mistake. Third floor.
I thought we might have been missing.
1 second. Pudge is now mad that he's in here and he's slapping the carpet against the floor.
You've heard of girl math. You've heard of boy math. Now we're learning about baby math.
Baby math,
Let's
yeah.
go.
I've released him. Hold on. Sorry. Let me restart this calculation. It is well, I guess you only want the distance between this floor and that floor. So it's about 145 baby feet straight up to the third floor.
Okay, folks. Well, I have a plan that I can try and do. It doesn't show on this map, but would the bathroom in the master bedroom have a window? Or would the master bedroom have a window? He's looking. He's
Third
looking.
floor.
From the looks of it, no room.
The master bedroom ensuite bathroom would have a window. Yes.
Okay. And is there a window here in the nursery?
This nursery does have a window. Yes. It is at about waist height for a attendant. So hold on. Again, let me just do this real quick. So it's about 50 feet up. 50 baby feet up. Sorry, that's way too high. It's about 35 baby feet up. That would be like, it was like way up at the top, like touching the ceiling. Sorry.
So I can try and do this on my own, but obviously it would be preferable. If I can get outside, I can do this, but I don't know.
So
I don't know if
the
I can
nursery is
know.
at the back right-hand corner of Grandma's house, and the ensuite bathroom in the master bedroom is at the front left corner. So it's the opposite side of the house from where you are.
Yeah, so that's why I need to get outside first. Well, I'm just gonna do this and see how it goes, and hopefully I don't get into trouble, because then you will need to come rescue me. So I'm going to climb up to the window in the nursery.
Okay.
Is the window
How
open?
are you climbing up to the window in the nursery?
I can walk up vertical surfaces.
You can walk up vertical surfaces. Okay, sounds good. Give me a stealth check.
Yeah, here, let me tell you what the actual thing is. It's the improved unarmed movement. You can move along vertical surfaces and across liquids on your turn without falling during the move.
Okay, give me a stealth check.
Okay. So the first one is a 13. And the second one is a 20.
Is that a dirty 20 or natural 20? Sorry, you're cutting out. I'm not hearing.
Dirty.
It's a dirty 20?
20.
So you make it about part way up, and the attendant stands up from the rocking chair, walks over, and picks you up off of the wall and puts you back down on the floor and does not let you climb all the way up to the window.
Oh my god, yeah, because their perception is absurd.
Yeah, she didn't actually get that high. She got a 25. So that was fully within your ability to have beaten, but she did spot you climbing up to the window and does put you down because she's like, nope, babies should not be climbing up onto windowsills, above that far above the ground.
What can I see out the window from the floor?
Give me a perception check. And while you're rolling that perception check, what is everybody else kind of looking to do as maybe a way to find a solution to how to get Rollick what he wants?
My question is, like, have we ever been to that bathroom before? Like, are we allowed full reign of the house, or are we, like, kept to the first floor?
You are more or less kept to the first floor in terms of, like, what you are allowed to do. You would know, the house has been mapped out by babies who've come before you, so you know the layout of the house.
Okay.
You can get up to the upper floors if you can manage to get past the attendants, who are not everywhere all the time watching everything. You have a free reign of the first floor. There just might be other obstacles that you encounter. Babies have gone up to the third floor.
Yeah, is Wyoming Lan around?
Yeah, give me an investigation check to see if you can find Wyoming Lan.
Absurd name, by the way.
What did you get on your perception there, little guy?
Oh, I got a 22.
So the 22, you can kind of make out the big tree in the backyard through the window. So looking through the window, you can kind of make out the big tree that is in the back corner of because you're looking at an upward angle, right? So like you're not seeing sort of straight out, you're seeing upwards, but you can see the trees and branches of the tree. And actually with a 22, you can kind of make out a couple of squirrels fighting with a you can see a couple of squirrels fighting with some bees up in the tree. Again, give me one sec. Pudge is still slapping the carpet. I'm not sure what it is he wants from me, but he needs to stop. Hey.
I can't even hear the carpet slapping.
Get out! He's being a bad boy. Anyway, so yeah, you see, that's what you see. You can see out into the backyard, which again, the list of factions and groups on your cheat sheet would include information about what's in the backyard in terms of people who are back there and groups and such. Yeah, so I was getting an investigation check from you, Dianar, for Wyoming Lan.
23.
So you take a look around and you don't see Wyoming Lan. She doesn't seem to be here in the nursery, but you can see other wanderers, like the ones who are by the baby gate getting ready to leave. They haven't departed yet. And Wyoming Lan is one of the wanderers. So she would be available. Like they would know where she was if she's off somewhere, if she's here today.
Okay, I want to go up and talk to them.
Yeah, so you head on over to them, and we're gonna name another person here. What I've got up, I have this by specific request. This is Dutson's first creekgasm, which Dutson wanted to be his cat Eddie. So Eddie is the name of this baby wanderer that you meet. Dark-skinned baby, human, has like a flop of black hair just like on his forehead that seems to be like greased down on his forehead as you come up. And he's like, hey Diana, yeah, I'm just about to head out here actually. Yeah, do you want something?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if you guys ever been to the ensuite bathroom?
The ensuite bathroom, like grandma's room or like the guest room?
I forget.
It's grandma's.
Grandma's room.
You know what? I haven't personally gone into grandma's room myself. But I think Wyoming did a couple of weeks ago. She apparently a toy rolled under the door into the bedroom for one of the babies, and she went up there and she got it. So Wyoming knows how to get into grandma's bedroom. She knows how to get in there. She's done it before. But she's not here right now. Obviously, she's scouting out the possibility of some ants in the second floor. We got reports that some ants managed to make it up to the second floor, and so she's checking to see if that's true.
Thanks, Eddie. You gotta do something about that nose.
I know. Honestly, it's a real problem, and I'm hoping I'll be able to solve it. I hear Grandma has some leaves in the vegetable garden out back. That's actually where I'm going. That's actually where I'm going right now. And after saying that, Eddie kind of like slings his bow and is like,
I can't.
oh no, and like heads out to go off and do his thing. So you know that Wyoming Lan is up on the second floor, and that she knows how to get into Grandma's bedroom, which would give you access to the ensuite bathroom. Before we go back to little guy, Lynn, what are you doing during this?
In the nursery, is there a pile of toys?
There's a toy box, yeah.
Are there any toys that have been sitting out of it since we got here? Still
When
there?
you woke up, there have been a bunch of like the babies are playing with the toys all across the nursery. Can you be more specific about what you mean by toys that have been like left out?
I mean, like ones that. What I want to try and do is see if any of the toys saw who actually took our stuff.
Oh, I see. You want to go speak with animals on any of the like potentially sentient toys. So you would know that like plastic toys are not living. They're inanimate.
So like stuffed bears, like
But
plush?
yes, yeah, anything that's like a stuffed animal, like a teddy bear or something like that, those you can speak with animal. Plastic toys would be the equivalent of talking. They're lifeless in that respect. But they can be animated in various ways. But if you're looking for an actual stuffed animal, there are a couple of stuffed teddy bears that are out. Yes, I would say give me your choice. Give me an investigation or a nature check. I'm going to apply nature here in the way that you might apply it to like not handling an animal, but like understanding an animal.
Both are +3. So for the sake of interest, I'm gonna go nature.
Okay.
8.
With an 8, you can see that it's not the stuffed animal that's the closest to where you were sleeping, but there is a stuffed giraffe that is over by the toy box. It's a bit further away from where you were, from like the napping space in the nursery, but it's taller. It's a giraffe, so it's got like more of a higher vantage
It would have
point.
been able to see something
Potentially.
easier than say something sitting on the ground. I
Potentially.
go over to it and I cast speak with stuffed animals, I guess, to talk with it.
Amazing. So you cast that. What does it look like when Lynn casts the spell?
So Lynn pulls pulls out her flute and she just like unceremoniously kind of stuffs it in the band of her diaper most of the time. And she pulls it out
Ew.
and she just sort of like
And then
in
puts
the
it to her
band,
mouth?
like on the side.
Oh, okay.
Not like in her ass crack, you fucking weirdo. Jesus.
Fucking pink eye flute. Holy shit.
Fuck. It's like in the band of the
Yeah.
diaper
No,
on the
I see it.
side.
I see it. Yeah.
All right. And she just like plays like a little tune, and I guess to any adults, they would just like hear random notes, but perhaps to babies and how they perceive sound and stuff like that, it just is like a nice little trill that sort of tapers off in a way, and there is like a glowing sort of almost. It's not exactly liquid, but it's like what liquid would look like if it were just sort of like floating and sort of surrounds her a little bit. And then when she stops, it like slowly disappears and dissipates. And she looks up at the giraffe and says, "Hi, Mr. Giraffe, or whatever your name is. Can you hear me?"
Oh, yeah, I can. How's it going there? How's it going there, Lynn? It's nice to see you.
Did he say his name? I was so...
Oh, no, sorry, I didn't say my name. You just asked how's it going. I answered that question first.
Okay. I'm honestly, I'm a little sad. I could really use your help if you have a moment.
Well, I'll be happy to give you a hand for sure. By the way, you didn't ask, but I feel like it's only polite for me to introduce myself. My name's Echo. Echo, the stuffed giraffe. Named after Foxhound's cat, Echo, from Foxhound's First Greegasm. Well, yeah, I'd be happy to help you. What can I do for you?
Me and my friends, and I just kind of turn and look, and everyone's kind of doing their own thing. And I just point, I'm like, the new kid, his name is Hoot. And then I point over to where the attendant has picked up little guy, and Danara, who's over by where'd she go? Over by the gate, talking to the wanderers and stuff.
Oh, I can see
And
all of them. I can see a lot of stuff from up here.
Yeah. Relic took our stuff, and I was wondering if it was actually him who took it, or if you saw someone else take it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just give me a second to think. It takes me a second to do that. And I'm just gonna roll for what this giraffe saw. So you got an 8 on your nature, which got you to echo here. Okay, I just rolled just like a luck check, basically, and that was a 17.
Oh, nice.
So Echo kind of goes, well, okay, here's what I remember seeing, okay? I was up here and I was looking around and I was just, I kind of just only can see in the direction that the last kid left me. So I don't have muscles. So
That'd be difficult, yeah.
So I was just kind of... No, I can do this. So I just... Damn it! I can do this! I was just kind of looking in the direction that I was last pointed, and it just happened to be in the direction of where you guys were sleeping. And I did in fact see Rollick and his buddy Timid taking your stuff. And they weren't really talking about it, but Rollick seemed very earnest and he was trying to get your things and he was being careful with them, it seemed, but he was also trying to be really quick about it. And I don't know, Timid didn't seem to be moving with the same kind of earnestness as Rollick was.
Okay, did they hand it off to anyone before leaving, or were you unable to see that?
Oh no, I saw Rollick. Rollick took him. Rollick got them with Timot's help, and then he got them all. Then he was kind of at the periphery of my vision, and he went out the baby gate.
Okay, and then of course that was in your periphery, so you couldn't see anything else. Okay.
Nope, I couldn't see because nobody put me facing in that direction.
Okay. Well, I have another question for you that's kind of unrelated.
I'm sorry, I'm giving myself the giggles with this guy.
I have another question for you that's kind of unrelated, I guess.
Okay, I love questions.
Okay, well maybe, okay, 2 more questions, because this one
Wow,
is
what a day!
Yeah, was there anyone else in the room that you could see here at the time and as a baby, awake?
Rollick and Timid got here actually pretty soon after you guys went to sleep. They were the next couple of babies that got here. I think maybe Trix might have been here, but I don't know. I couldn't really I think maybe someone was hanging out outside of my vision, but I think there might have been more babies here. I think maybe I saw Trix,
Okay.
but I don't know.
Okay. All right, now it's time for the unrelated question. Where's your favorite place in the nursery and what do you want to look at?
Oh.
And do you want to be put out of your misery?
That's such a sweet question. I'm actually overwhelmed by the prospect. I would love it actually if you could point me back towards the other stuffed animals that are behind me. Because we talk and have conversations, but I can never see them when I'm facing. Could you just face me towards my friends?
First. And Lynn just sort of picks him up carefully a bit more carefully than she would any other stuffed toy, because for some reason it's connecting in her brain that she can speak to them and they have feelings. So she just okay, how do I? What's the? Ooh, okay, and she stuffs her flute back in the part of her diaper that doesn't touch her butt, and just carefully picks up and kind of shimmies sideways and puts back down facing his friends. It's there.
And
Now you can have conversations all day.
Echo looks to this.
Hi, Echo's friends.
Yeah, Echo looks to the 2 people immediately next to. There's a teddy bear and then a little stuffed piglet toy, and the teddy bear is oh my goodness, you can see us again, and the Echo is it's happening, guys, I'm facing you, And they're all, and the piglet is just like, "This is the greatest day." And that's all the piglet says. And these stuffed animals are just like delighted to have been reconnected through you turning this stuffed giraffe around. Yeah, that's...
It was all worth it.
That was...
campaign was worth it for this. Do it again. Just do it again. Like...
Yes, Holly. Yeah, so Lynn's done that. Okay, so you have all sort of gathered information. We've sort of gone through. You got yourself some smithing tools, Hoot. You have like learned that Rollick left on his own. There might have been other babies here when that happened. Dianar, you learned about Wyoming. Little guy, you tried to get out through the window and ran into some trouble there. So everyone sort of had some time to sort of try some stuff out here to begin with. What are we kind of doing now? What are people thinking of doing now?
I still have a plan.
Yeah, I have an
On
idea
the
too.
window.
Oh, I have a
So-
plan inside the house, so you try first.
Okay, well, are we all like grouped up now? So, well, okay. It's not even gonna work if I don't ask this question first. How many baby feet away from the window is the tree?
The tree is about the tree is about 130 baby feet from the window.
Oh, and there's nothing else in between the window and the tree, right? Like
The
it's
vegetable
basically-
garden.
Well, the vegetable garden.
You can't
with, like
you can't
tallish-
Yeah, you can't
Oh, I
see
can't
it,
see
but
that.
immediately below the window there should be Grandma's vegetable garden.
My plan. Okay, here. Let me ask you another question, Ross. Is there a patch of dim light within 60 feet from the window that I can see?
From you are looked again, it's an upward angle, so you cannot
Yeah.
tell. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
But it is a bright,
All right.
sunny day outside.
Yeah. Okay. Then what's your idea, Jasper?
How I want to ask around how wide are the pipes in this house? Can I go talk to the fish and ask them?
You absolutely can go talk to the fish. Yes. If you want to do so. You can just go out through the baby gate into the living room if you want to.
Yeah, I want to talk to the fish because my idea is we climb the pipes inside of the pipes to get upstairs.
God damn. Okay.
Gotcha.
Terrifying.
Okay.
Pipes big enough for a baby?
That's what I'm asking. That's what I want to know. I don't know how big the plumbing needs to be for grandma, but
Right. Okay. So yeah. So you. Obviously, that's fine. So is anyone going with Hoot out into the living room?
I'll go with who.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. So the four of you kind of all meet up at the gate into the nursery, and you step out, and in doing so, you're kind of stepping out of like uncontested baby controlled territory, right? You're stepping out into the sort of more the frontier lands of Grandma's house now, but you're still pretty close to home. Like the nursery's in sight, and like the attendant in the nursery can still hear what's going on out here. So there's still a relative amount of protection for babies out here. But the living room, here, let me describe the living room so you have a sense of the layout here. So the living room contains a sectional, a lazy boy, and a rocking chair. There's a TV, a fern, a fireplace with a mantle, a glass coffee table, and a couple of end tables. The fish tank that that Hoot glimpsed earlier is up on an end table over on the side here. There's also a record player and a collection of records. All of this is like what the adult scale stuff is. All of this massive in scale compared to you. What you know about this in terms of the baby world's understanding is that this is territory that Herbert the dog can often be found in. He's often like walking around like he's sleeping. He'll sleep on the sectional sometimes. Underneath the sectional couch, which is up against a wall, is the kingdom of the dust bunnies. So the dust bunny kingdom is underneath there. So you know that is there. You can also get out into the hallway at the other end, like closer to the front of the house from the nursery. That's about 60, 75 feet away, baby feet away. And yeah, in order to get up to the fish tank is about like 30 baby feet up from you, but you can see the fish up in the tank, and a few of them kind of swim over to the edge and kind of look down towards the four of you. There's no attendant in this room.
So, can I can I strip down and then fly up?
Strip down and fly up. If you want to take off your, if you want to
Take
take off
my
your
scale now.
yeah, if you want to take off your armor and leave it there on the ground, you can definitely jump. So you just remove all the milk cartons, and then you're able to fly up there. Yeah, you absolutely can.
Okay, cool. I want to fly up there and talk to them.
All right, so you fly up, and there's a little ledge on the edge of the fish tank where you can stand. I'll ask though, Lynn, Dayanara, little guy, are you also wanting to go up there as well? And if so, how would you? How do you want to go about getting up there? I'm not being like, I haven't described things. This is like fully up to you, kind of like how you like think you as babies would try to get up there.
A little wary of the fact that we've already had stuff stolen from us. So before Hoot takes off and goes up there, Lynn's like, "Don't worry, Hoot. I will watch over your stuff." And kind of looks around.
Heck
See if
yeah.
there's any other babies around.
Heck yeah. They're just the wanderers are just back at the baby gate, like 10, 15 baby feet behind you. They haven't, but and you do see at the opposite end, like going out into the hallway, you see Eddie, the wanderer who left earlier.
Yeah, I'll go up to the edge by the fish tank. I'll just walk up the side of the thing they're sitting on.
Perfect.
Diana is gonna stay down. She doesn't think this is gonna work, and she's like, ugh.
Perfect. Is there anything else that Dianar would do in the living room instead then, if knowing what else is potentially in here? Herbert the dog is actually in here. He's on the sectional over the Kingdom of the Dust Bunnies, sleeping.
I'm just gonna turn to Lynn and I'm gonna say,
You know, they're cooking up all kinds of schemes, but I think we should just go find Wyoming. Besides, Eddie said she's got ants up there, and I want to play with them.
They're fun to play with. But they're trying to do this bird thing, and if we're gonna find our stuff, we should stick together.
All right, fine.
I know that that's hard, but high five anyway?
Dianara puts her hand up for a high five, and then as you go, she takes it away.
And you like the momentum of it causes you to like stumble past her a little bit in that baby way where you misjudged your momentum.
What? Every time, Dianara.
Gotta be faster.
Whatever.
So up on the ledge, Hoot, you're there with little guy, and you kind of go up to, and like a bunch of the fish kind of swim up to the glass in front of you, and a few of them swim up, and one of the fish is kind of like, a new one, a new baby. Hello there, new baby. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. What's your name?
Hold on, let me look at my list here. Hi, baby. My name is David. I'm David.
David the fish?
I'm David the fish. Yeah, that's me. I'm David. Hi.
How long you been here, David?
I don't remember.
That's fair. Yeah.
Hi,
what kind of fish is David?
My name is David. David is a goldfish.
Memory of a goldfish.
David is a goldfish.
Yeah, okay, cool.
That's not the only kind of fish in here. David is a goldfish. One of the other fish. I'm just honestly gonna call this other fish. There's another fish that's like, what are those ones that like they like get aggressive and their fins come out
like beta fish? I hope there's not a beta fish.
Yeah, it's not a beta fish. I was like, those ones will kill other fish in the tank, right? I don't know. There's like a clownfish, let's say. There's a clownfish. Okay. I'm just gonna name this the clownfish Beefshire.
We got David and Beef.
David and Beefshire. But the clownfish goes, my name's Beefshire. This here's my friend David. Sorry about that. David's been here for about 7 weeks. Me, myself, I've been in this tank here for going on, I want to say 3 years now.
I don't know why I asked. I don't really understand that length of time.
David's like, me neither, man. I also don't understand. I don't remember being here 7 weeks. You think I would? But I'll remember your name, Scroot. How are you? What brings you here?
I've been better. I'm pretty sure the benevolent gods who care for me left me behind and have abandoned me.
I
And
hate when
then,
that happens. I hate it.
and then they stole our stuff here. So we're trying to get it back. And I was wondering, we need to get up to the bathroom on the 3rd floor. What are the pipes like?
At the mention of the word bathroom, several other fish like swim over, and like collectively they're all like, the bathroom, the bathroom, the bathroom. He's talking about the bathroom. And like one fish like does the fish equivalent of like falling to their knees and being like, oh, the bathroom, but like in the tank. And Beefshire the clownfish goes, you're talking about the bathroom? What reason could you have to go to the great portal to the beyond?
We heard there's a divine white goop that we need to find up in the upper echelon of the world beyond.
Oh, a divine white goop. I don't know anything about a divine white goop, but anyone who, amongst our kind, any who've gone to the bathroom have never returned. I don't know if it's safer for a baby, though. And then David goes, why do you need this divine white goop for?
David, is there anything you love more than anything?
I think I love Beefshire more than anything.
Imagine if someone took Beefshire away from you.
Oh no.
And you needed this white goop to get him back. Would you go through the portal?
And he like turns and looks at Beefshire, and like he's in water, so you can't tell if he's like tearing up or something, but when he speaks again he said, I'd never forget Beefshire. I would remember him, and I would go, and I would risk going through the gateway to the afterlife, rescue my friend, Beefshire. And then Beefshire's like, oh my god, David, I didn't know we were that close. Honestly, man, that's wow, I honestly don't know if I would do the same. But I'm moved, man. I'm moved. And then David turns back to him and goes, moved by what?
Oh my god.
And
don't make me skip goldfish. Don't make me do it.
But anyway, then Beefshire says to you, well, I mean, listen, kid, I don't know what to tell you, but for us, the bathrooms are a sacred place. They're the place where you move on, you transition from the tank to whatever is on the next plane of existence. But we don't, we get carried there by Grandma. She comes and she takes us out when we are getting sleepy and our time is coming to an end here in the tank and we're ready to move on, and she scoops us out and she takes us to the bathroom, and we only really know about it because, we've asked babies like you, the Wanderers, to follow and report back on what they saw, and so we've learned a bit about it, but we've the upstairs bathroom. We don't know anything about this divine goop. I wish we could be of more assistance than that, but that's sort of just what we know.
All right, I'm gonna turn to the little guy next to me and say, all right, we have two options here. First, we go find Wyoming, like Diana wants. Second, we fall asleep in the fish tank and see if we end up down the toilet.
All right, and on that note, because it is 9:00 and we do have a hard cutoff for today's D&D stream, we are going to end episode 1 of Carpet Crawlers right there, but we will be back next week on Sunday for another episode as we return to our Carpet Crawlers themselves to continue this quest to retrieve their fixation items. players, thank you so much for playing with me today. Thank you so much. To chat, thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
That's a dragon boy.
That's my DM.
Yeah.
Right there.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today, guys. I will see you guys next time on stream in a few days. But until then, have yourselves a fantastic rest of your Sunday evenings, rest of your week, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.
Remember, everyone, plastic toys are alive.
They're not. That's just true.
If you